drought for Brad Keselowski is about to come to an end, and Ford is going back to victory lane. Off for final time. Brad Keselowski under the checkered flag, and Brad Keselowski has won the Goodyear 400 Darlington Raceway. Career win number 36 for Brad Keselowski. He wins over Ty Gibbs, Josh Berry, Denny Hamlin, and Chase Briscoe.
Today on the MRN Network, Brad Keselowski takes home the checkered flag to wrap up a fun weekend in Darlington. And boy, oh boy, has so much changed since we last left you, since we last spoke to you. Jen Jensen was down there yesterday taking it all in. We'll get her thoughts from Darlington. We'll get Preston Thorne's thoughts on South Carolina baseball, and I will just sit here quietly and try and take it all in for 3 hours in what should be an entertaining program. Welcome in. Monday, May the 13th, 6:02 a.m. Back in studio after a wild, fun Friday and a wild, fun Mother's Day weekend. Jen, hope it was a great Mother's Day for you yesterday.
I was away from my family, so yes.
Perfect.
Yeah, exactly. So it was a trick. No, we actually the kids came up on Saturday, and so just kind of chilled out, did some crab legs. That was all good.
Ooh.
And then I was at this track all day yesterday, so got home about 9:15 last night. So
Couldn't be better.
We had a blast, and I'm telling you, I was stalking Lenora Sellers. I never did get any comments from him because it's a little loud on pit road, of course, and he was in the Keselowski pit box. So I do have video of him because Reggie Anderson and I were, kind of trying to get at least some kind of video. I don't know that he actually got comments, but I gave Rick Henry a heads up, and I said, dude, and we don't know how he got, involved in being in the Keselowski press box or a pit box, but it was cool to see him up there. And
wait a second, are you saying that Lenoris was the charm that got Keselowski over the top this weekend?
3 Heismans.
Exactly.
So not only will he win
3
2 Heismans, but he's also won a Darlington?
I'm just saying. Yep. Isn't that interesting? Yeah.
Was he... I have so many questions to open the... So was he in Keselowski's pit box?
Yes. So where the engineers are, the crew chief, how
He's
they've got those... with all the telemetry, and they're up sitting on the box. He was up there on the box. I'll show you guys a video.
Was he
post something
there, though,
on
because
Twitter.
Keselowski won, or was he there prior to Keselowski winning? So, he was
No,
just...
he was watching the race, yeah.
From that
vantage point.
In that vantage... So, like you said, it wasn't like he wandered over to the winner.
Oh, no.
He was there from the get-go being a winner.
Correct, yeah. He was there before the race.
I don't know how South Carolina doesn't win a national championship.
I'm just saying, because look at that, because that was like a 110 race losing streak. I don't want to say losing streak, but Keselowski had not won in like 110 races. So let's put it out there.
Hey.
Yep. You heard it here first.
Also, did he still look like he was maybe the manager of the pit crew when he was walking around? Did he still have the air of confidence that he normally has?
Yeah, in fact, Tyler got a picture of him because of a shirt he had on. I'm drawing a blank. Brain cells are gone. I'll have to look at it. But anyway, he was ready for racing, and he had a great spot. He was right up in the front row in the pit box. It was pretty cool to see him, but I thought, well, I'm going to go down there right before the first stage. So I thought, well, maybe when you take a stage break, because it's kind of hard to hear anything. But once, obviously engines are down because they're in a caution for a stage break. So I thought that'll be a great chance. I had, my little microphone. I was all ready to go. And I stood there and like, really? Don't need a restroom break or a beverage or anything like that? No. So I tried to wait until like the second. Still nothing. It's like, okay, at this point, my right side of my body is, probably sunburned. But it was cool to see him. He seemed focused, had the, headphones on, the whole 9 yards. So, yeah.
He's a winner.
He brings good luck. So, yes, I think it's going to be a magical season this year.
How about that?
If Brad Keselowski can break his streak, I'm surely we can beat ODU.
There you go.
Right? We can do something.
Okay. All right. There you go. That's why you tune in each and every morning, is to get information.
Mark it down.
So
ODU 1-0.
Not only was it a great day for Jen and Reggie and everybody that was down there, Tyler.
13 days until 100 days. Mark it down.
I'm fired up now. That right there.
1-0.
That's all I needed. Lenora Sellers and Brad Keselowski's pit box to on pit road there to to tell me that this year is going to be special. That Lenora Sellers cannot be stopped. Look out!
Vibes.
Look out! Those are the good vibes. Those are the good vibes. As I said, a lot has changed since we last joined you on Friday morning. In the not so good vibes spectrum, Preston, Jen, it was baseball. Oh boy! Oh no! That was not good. Nothing good about it. Georgia sweeps the series. They do it rather handily at that. Nothing good coming out of the baseball series for South Carolina this weekend. Now you get a few days off before you head to Tennessee to take on what is currently number one Tennessee in the final series of the year. And South Carolina's pitching it's gone to the tank. 14, 11, and 14. The Gamecocks this weekend giving up 39 runs to the Georgia Bulldogs. Preston Thorne, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. There's just nothing you can say. Everybody saw it. There's no other way to spin it than that was ugly and a bad sign, and not the way you want to wrap up the home regular season series, home season finale there for the SEC in terms of just being at Founders Park.
Yeah. Commentary. Not a much. I've been kind of talking about this idea of how do we want to win games. We've been winning a couple of these very high-scoring affairs. However, when the bats don't show up and the pitching is as it's been, it's going to be very, very difficult to beat a team who has somebody who's hitting 480,000 or whatever he's hitting. So it's going to be difficult. Very bad weekend. No way around it.
Yeah, and the major concern, in all seriousness, the major concern is the fact that it looks like the starting pitching has gone bye-bye. It's gone. I don't know what's happened to it. And there's a few bright spots here and there, but South Carolina's pitching staff this weekend just beaten up. Georgia comes in here and really has no problem smoking the ball around the infield, outfield, over the field, wherever they wanted to put it, and nothing South Carolina could really do about it. The Gamecocks, at least on Saturday, looked like they might be able to salvage the series a little bit. They were up 4-1 for a little while, 4-3 going into the seventh, and then Georgia managed to score 10 runs combined in the 8th and 9th inning to crush the Gamecocks 14-6, and it really, I've said, and I still continue to say, all right, let's let the season play out. Let this series play out. Let the SEC tournament play out. South Carolina will be in the postseason. Probably not hosting now, which I know is a bitter pill to swallow, but probably not hosting a regional, just based on what I think. Tennessee, for those of you who don't know, Tennessee last week 3-1. They took 2 of 3 from Vanderbilt, lost the Sunday game 3-0, defeated Queens in the midweek game. Tennessee should stay, I assume, at number 1. I don't know if anybody, I don't think anybody will overtake them today when D1 baseball in particular puts out their poll. So I assume Tennessee will stay number 1, 42-10 on the season. And they know how to play baseball really well. Now you got to go up there to Knoxville.
But, Bill.
Oh, good.
The good news is, I believe they call this the compliment sandwich. In HR training, they're like, hey, when you tell them something bad, you got to tell them something good.
Okay.
Softball.
Yes.
Advanced to regionals. We got softball. They found out where they're going to be playing. So the softball team has advanced. They're playing well. So you got Lenora Sellers, baseball, and then softball.
Softball. Excellent work on that. Excellent work right there.
Compliment sandwich.
Wrapping up the first segment with something positive.
That's how they train you to do it. You got to say something. Hey, listen, I got some tough news to give you.
Start with something really good. Build you up.
Mm-hmm. You just
bring you back down. Yep. Put you back up.
There you go.
And then I'll just kind of add the whipped cream on top of that. If you're a Denver Nuggets fan, again, since we last left you on Friday, I had written the Nuggets off. Mm-hmm. They were done. They were gone.
Don't count out the Joker.
And after last night, turns out series 2-2. So okay, there you go. All that, a lot going on this morning. If you want to be a part of the program, 803-404-6100. That's how you can weigh in if you want to do so.
All jokes aside, softball team will be, as I was looking at, they will be going to Durham, and they'll be taking on Duke, Utah, and Morgan State in their regionals. So they will be competing. And maybe we'll get into maybe later on in the week, but also a really fun time watching college softball tournament softball. So this could be something fun.
Good deal. All right, 803-404-6100. How you can weigh in if you want to do so this morning. We'll talk a little bit about Lenora Sellers, because that's a positive. Maybe we'll try and ride that train for a little bit. But if you want to talk baseball, we will gladly do it. Let's get out to the Love Chevy phone lines. I would like to call you the birthday boy, but it's not officially your birthday. They just celebrated early. Dr. Bulldog has weighed in. Gamecock Larry, he has sent me a picture from your birthday. How was the weekend?
It was great for the weekend from what we had for the old Gamecocks. But I want to thank everyone for coming out. I want to thank the owner and the sponsors of Gamecock Larry's Drag Race, the motocross team, Mickey, Jimmy, and CW, Clark, and the 3 young men that does the racing. I met them all, and I really had a great time. I thank everyone that came out. Now, but one thing about it, old Gamecock Larry got to thinking, if the good Lord is willing, I can have 2 birthday parties this year. August the 1st is my birthday, but it's so hot I won't be able to get out there and do that. But I really enjoyed this weekend. But let me tell you something. I know I'm gonna make you mad. I can't help it. But I'm gonna tell you, it's a disgrace. The Gamecock baseball team this weekend, 13 runs a game, 39 in 3 games. The home runs didn't hurt us near as much as the 24 walks, 7 hit batsmen did. Our pitching staff is gone. Our pitching coach should be gone. Our hitting's gone. Our head coach should be gone. I don't know. I think we got the worst end of the stick in this letting Holbrook go and getting this coach we got now. There's something going on between the Gamecock players and the coaching staff, especially the head coach. I don't care what you say. I'm not going to say nothing else about the baseball team anymore. I'm going to get behind. I'm going to talk about the softball team, and I'm going to look forward to the football team. But Ray Tanner, I love you. You helped build this program the way it was, and you helped tear it down the way they're going. Get rid of the coach. Well, I'm gonna get rid of Kingston, and I done forgot the other coach on it. I don't know. Disgrace. I ain't gonna say no more. Let the bay. I don't care if you win the College World Series. I'll still say this ain't Gamecock baseball. Get rid of Kingston. Go.
There you go. We got to hit a hard break here at 6:15, but those are the feelings of the one and only Gamecock Larry. We'll be right back.
Preston here. Let me tell you about my friends at Absolute Glass, the premier glass company of the Midlands, offering auto, home, and business glass repair. So if your glass is damaged, shattered, cracked, or broken, they can handle the job. If it's a cracked windshield, no problem. They'll come out to your location and replace it for you. Yes, they will come out to wherever you are, school, home, work. It does not matter. They'll come out to your location, replace it for you, usually for free, and they work directly with the insurance company to take away the headache. They also give you a free quote for any job. Now, if you're looking to increase the value of your home with new windows or mirrors, Absolute Glass will take care of that for you too. Windows, mirrors, shower enclosures. I say it all the time. If you can see through it, Ray and Marianne at Absolute Glass can do it. So check them out online at AbsoluteGlassInc.com. That's online at AbsoluteGlassInc.com.
We do have a report of an accident, Gator Road at Highway 302. Aside from that, no accidents to report at this time. Great start to your Monday morning. A little bit cooler this morning than it has been. I mean, certainly not cold by any means. But we're looking for a high of only 79 today, 77 tomorrow with some passing storms. Then we get up to 84 for Wednesday. And then really we'll be in the 80s for the foreseeable future. Right now it's 59 on the early game.
Well, Georgia played their ass off all weekend, and we did not. So for 7 innings today, I thought we were going to win that game. Gainey did great, did exactly what we thought he would in the starting role, and then obviously it all fell in on us those last 2 innings. So got to be better from that, and we will.
That's the voice there of Gamecock baseball coach Mark Kingston. We got 2 options here. We can talk more about Darlington, or we can address the elephant in the room, Preston Thorne, and that is baseball right now after a bad weekend where South Carolina outscored. They give up 39 runs over the weekend. Saturday in the series finale, as you just heard Mark Kingston talk about there. They had their opportunities. They're there with a chance to win, Preston Thorne. They have their chance. They're up in the 7th inning, and they give up 10 runs. 10 runs in the 8th and 9th combined. 6 in the 8th, 4 in the 9th.
Well, Bill, it's always darkest before dawn, and the night comes before the day.
Preston Thorne has just predicted them to knock off Tennessee this coming weekend. The pitchers, on Saturday alone, Garrett Gainey, he's right. Mark Kingston's right. 5 1/3, gave up 5 hits, allowed 3 runs, 2 of them earned, struck out 7, walked 1, looked like you were getting what you need to get. And then really the combination of which 6 pitchers could not get from about the 6th inning on, could not wrap up the game.
See, Bill, here's the thing about losses. You don't lose, you learn. And sometimes learning is the way that you learn to win.
So, according to Preston Thorne, South Carolina is now a much better team and in a much better spot. The batting, I kind of agree with this. South Carolina scored enough runs to win this weekend. So now we look directly at the pitching, if you will, Preston Thorne. And again, you talk about walks. I think you've been a proponent that walks, well, you can't give those up, especially in SEC play, especially to a team like Georgia who has a bunch of really good hitters. Charlie Condon, just on Saturday alone, 2 for 4 in that particular game. He was walked twice. Trey Phelps, your guy, Mr. Almost Shirtless, on Saturday, pretty good too, 2 for 4. He actually had 3 runs. Trey Phelps might be a star in the making.
This is the thing, Bill. Tough times don't last, but tough teams do. And here's the deal about this. This is what you need to find. This is what you need to understand, is that it's not how far you fall, it's how high you bounce.
Oh, good point, good point. So Preston Thorne, again, continuing to predict big things for South Carolina down the stretch. I'm totally with a lot of people on this. The pitching, this all of a sudden, you go back the last few weeks here. Again, 14 runs, 11 runs, 14 runs. Last weekend gave up 8 to Missouri, 15 to Kentucky. Oh, Preston.
Bill, the only place where success comes before failure is the dictionary. Remember that.
Success before.
Not, actually.
Yep.
What?
The only place where failure becomes before success is the dictionary.
There you go. That's the one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right.
Now, I'm just going to make a proposal.
Uh-huh.
Lenora Sellers needs to go to Tennessee.
No. Rephrase that.
Okay, he does not need to go to Tennessee. He
Rephrase
needs to go to the baseball series this weekend to watch the Gamecocks take on Tennessee so that he can be the good luck charm.
There you go. Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Yes, I do
You
not
just
need to
scared a
start
lot of people at
rumors.
6:25 in the morning. We're going to be all
Breaking
over.
news.
Really
We're
good
going to be
point.
all. I hope you're happy. It's 25 minutes into the program on a Monday morning. We're going to be all over the message boards now.
She said he needs to leave. No.
Yeah.
Local
That's
radio
exactly-
host.
They wouldn't do this in Clemson. Clemson wouldn't tell the starting quarterback to go somewhere.
Right. No, he needs to be the good luck charm that goes to the baseball series.
Put him on the
He
bus.
needs to stay here for as long as he possibly can in Gamecock football.
Just high-speed railway between. I don't know when does softball regionals start?
Failure's not final.
Way to not break character on that one. We got not. I. In all seriousness, what do you
Gotta
say?
mark that one down.
Yeah. What do you, there's and I have tried to, and I'm going to continue to say it because I have one more weekend to say it. Let it play out. But this was bad. It was bad, and there's no other way. Well, wait, hold on. That was bad, Preston Thorne. Your turn.
Well, and really, with the first game, it's like, okay, 14-10. Okay, they still lost. It wasn't great, but at least it seemed it was a manageable score. Like reasonable.
Understandable. It was a manageable score to the three of us and a manageable score to me because we had to be up at 3 a.m. and we had to be in Darlington at 6 a.m. So therefore, I watched 3 innings. Mm-hmm. So when I woke up and I went 14-10, okay, well, it was 14-7 coming out of the seventh. They scored
correct.
3 in the eighth. And
I was trying not to get into all that. I was just trying to find the positive.
We're all playing a certain role right now.
Yeah.
Well, the great American philosopher Belcalis Almazar, a.k.a. Cardi B, said, you fall 9 times, you get up 10. So I don't know what their playlist is looking like now. Bill, there's no way to slice this. It's a very bad, no good, very horrible, bad day. 3 of them in a row.
Yeah.
I think you hit it on the head. We just got to let this play out. It's not even, we're on it. This is where we are. We have to see what ends up happening. You are well within your rights to complain and have criticisms and critiques of the current state of the program. I will never get on the radio and say, you can't critique the program, you have to be with us or against us. That's not how this works. You are very well within your rights and very valid in critiques that you might have about the program. But it's too late now. We're here. So things may change or they may not. I feel like as a fan base, we're probably in a good position either way. If they change, great. If they don't, maybe some people's opinions will be validated.
I don't think the program's in a bad spot. I do think that, and I've compared it, and I think it is an apt comparison again to Tennessee women's basketball, who experienced so much success, and that success is continued or will always be expected. That level of success, and really that little 3 or 4 year run in particular, especially the 3 year run of 3 straight national title appearances, winning 2 of them, finally running into an Arizona team that was really good. There is a level of expectation for South Carolina baseball. If you're honest about it, South Carolina baseball is not in a bad place. It's not in a bad place. They're going to still be ranked after this weekend.
And all of our postseason hopes are in front of us.
That's true. All the goals are still in front of us. Most of the goals are still in front of us. Yeah. Most, not all. I can't win the East.
Our big goal is in front of us.
Yeah, we still have goals.
Listen, if you've never been on a team where you start the season with goals and you just sort of whittle them down because they're not happening, it's like, oh, we're going to go undefeated this year. Nope. We're going to win the region this year. Nope. We're going to get a bye in the playoffs. Nope. And he's like, all right, guys, there's still the big one out there. There's still time.
You still win the SEC tournament. You can still win a regional. You can still win a super regional. You get the point. You got one more in you?
You want to save it for the other side?
Of course. We got more.
We're going to keep you. It's Monday morning. We're going to try and keep you positive this morning. Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner, Sheehan Jensen. It's the early game. Bill Gunner for the men's clinic over in Irma off of St. Andrews Road. Dr. Dan Balknight, well, he's helping men. You know what? Each of us, as we get older, we might have a little issue here or there. You might be experiencing brain fog, forgetting things, not remembering the way you used to. You might be gaining or losing weight, not real sure why. Maybe just things you aren't recovering quick enough after workouts, and maybe even a little bit of your fun time isn't going the way it should. Well, guess what? There's nothing generic about you, so why settle for general medical care? At the men's clinic, they're experts in men's health. You need to call today and schedule an appointment. Maybe get a testosterone test. You can get a free one of those and find out if it's just something as simple as low T. So call Dr. Dan Balknight and schedule an appointment today. 803-875-MENS. Again, that's 803-875-MENS. You can learn more information on the web, themensclinicsc.com. Again, that's 803-875-MENS. Call the men's clinic today. Tell them Bill Gunner sent you.
We have a report of just one accident out there this morning, and that's Gator Road at Highway 302. And your forecast looks kind of nice, a little bit mild. 79 for the high today, maybe some passing storms tomorrow, and a high of 77. And then we get into the 80s really throughout the rest of the week and weekend. But right now, it is nice. Just a little bit of a breeze, and sun is trying to peek out. It's 59 on the early game.
Eight zero 6100 is how you can weigh in this morning if you want to so choose to do so. I guess things could be worse.
Things could be worse.
Clemson got swept this weekend by Wake Forest. Wake Forest is number 12. I mean, misery loves company.
There you go. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a solid one.
I don't know. Let it play out. Let it. It's all I can. I'm with you. It's the end of the season. See where they go. See what they do. Right. Like, in all seriousness, they are who they. All right, we're just gonna go through all of them.
Oh, here you go. What about somebody could say they are who we thought they were?
They are who they are. Oh boy,
you're only as good as your record says you are.
We have set a record for sports talk radio cliches.
Let's
in
go.
36 minutes. 36 minutes. We've thrown out every cliche we can to try to explain the weekend.
Yeah, I'm with you though. Hey, listen, it's the end of the year. Seriously, it's too early. It's too late to get off. If you've been on the ride this long, you might as well stay here and see how it ends. Things could change. Historically, without pitching, it will not.
Yeah.
That'll be my take. Unless the pitching changes dramatically, that won't change. But we're here, so let's see how it plays out.
803-404-6100. Let's get out to the phone lines where Mike wants to weigh in. Mike, how you doing this morning? What's on your mind?
Oh, well, we could be better after losing the Georgia this weekend. But anyway, I heard everything you said about, comparing baseball to Tennessee basketball. And, Bill, I disagree with you. We are not in a better spot. We've only hosted as a 1 seed now once under Kingston. I'm not counting that year that we were a 2 seed and we backed into hosting at home. The expectation around here is hosting as a 1 seed. And the fact that he's only hosted 1 year so far and, barring a miracle this weekend, won't do it this year, it's unacceptable, And the big thing for me this weekend was we not only lost, we lost bad. And looking at some of the stuff that was done, the players were not utilized to their fullest extent. Matthew Becker, a guy who was a cornerstone last year, he was relegated to little mop-up duty. Actually, he was only used to he walked one batter and he intentionally walked Charlie Condon on Saturday. He got 2 batters, and he got taken out from McCreary, who I'm sure is a great person, but he did terrible on Friday. And I'm not sure what Kingston thought he was doing, but he said in his press conference that it was, quote, an easy decision. Well, if that's where we're going, I think just, there's not much hope this weekend. Now, I'm going to stick it out, but, just looking at what we're on the field this weekend, coaching's not even putting our players in the best position right now.
No, but you understand what I mean by the Tennessee comparison, because as you just pointed out, Tennessee women's basketball, not Tennessee men's team, is getting to the postseason. They're having success, but it's not to the level of success as you just explained with the expectation. There is a different level of expectation for South Carolina baseball, good or bad. And I agree, and thank you for the phone call, Mike. And that's the thing, Preston, is, South Carolina baseball, much like moving forward, There will come a day where Dawn Staley steps down, hopefully far, far into the future, but there will come a day and women's basketball around here will be held to a different expectation. This is an interesting kind of conversation because right now our expectation, our hope, I don't even know if it's expectation, it's just hope, is that Lamont Paris gets back to the NCAA tournament. Like that, it's fun. You know, you talk about football, expectation. I think you hope South Carolina football wins 8 games this year.
Ceiling.
You don't expect it. I don't think you expect it. South Carolina baseball, every year you go in realistically expecting them to host a regional, to be one of the top 16 teams in the country, and to be a viable candidate to go to the College World Series. And that's where this is a good team. It's a good program. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah. And I think that's what people's point is.
Right.
It's like, hey, we just had Mother's Day. I don't want just okay. This is a special day. There should be something special.
Right.
It's not just another day. And that's just like the same way of saying this program, which has great expectations on it. It's good. It's okay. Yeah. All right. But that's not what we have expected here. That's not the job that he took. That's not the place that he inherited. And that's not the expectations that we bring to the ballpark and fandom of this job. And so, yeah, it's not good enough to just say, yeah, we're good.
Right.
Cool.
Right.
We're supposed to be good. That's not this a fan base's expectation of what they want out of the baseball team.
Inside the locker room, walk me back through 2000, 2001, and even 2002, because South Carolina had not been good the first 8 years in the SEC. There had been the first ever bowl victory under Brad Scott, but the expectation from the fan base was still, all right, Lou Holtz is here. Lou Holtz is a winner, but then the year before you get there, it's 0-11, and it's just a complete dud of a start for Lou Holtz. But what is that expectation like in the locker room?
See, that's the thing. We were coming into an upstart of a program. So we were coming into a place that was trying to add on, create, build traditions. We weren't coming into a place that was generationally laced with tradition and winning and things of that nature. But I also say this all the time, Bill. 2011, 10, 12, long time ago. The players who are playing now in the year of our Lord 2024 may have been 8, 7 years old. They don't remember that. And so it's our as fans, we're here talking about the days of yore. That might as well have been BC to those dudes. To say that something happened in 2010, it does not exist to somebody who is 20 years old.
This is an odd thing, but now as you say that, like my son just turned 12. He's never seen South Carolina.
Exactly.
Like he doesn't know that success. You're right. That's yesteryear.
That was before.
It was before he was born.
Black and white TVs.
And you think about that, like,
did you have the internet?
It's kind of the equivalent of like, it feels like Connor Shaw and Jadeveon Clowney. That was just a couple of years ago. That was like 12 years ago, 13 years ago. You see how fast history. I think my personal opinion, and again, 803-404-6100 if you want to weigh in with yours. The program is okay. That's not okay with the fan base. And I understand that.
I go to certain restaurants, and I'm okay with them being okay.
Right.
If I go to other restaurants, and it's just okay, I'll be very disappointed. You can put in whatever restaurant of your choice, but you understand what I'm saying.
Very good text. Very good text from anonymous texter. Says, as a Miami Hurricanes fanatic over the past 30 years, I've learned the difference between fan expectations versus team reality.
Salute, sir. You understand our pain. Is next year the year? Are y'all back?
Another text weighs in, begins and ends on the mound. Got what we got at this point. And that's where South Carolina, and that's what I'm saying. You got 1 weekend left.
It is what it is.
Oh, good. Yes. Now we're just setting records for cliches. 803-404.
At the end of the day, it is what it is.
Yeah, there's just not much going on there, and we'll see. We will see what happens moving forward. Obviously, South Carolina will go to the SEC
do what you got to do.
Gotta do what you got to. Yeah, I stick with the main goals are still there. The main goals are still there. There's just not much you can say. 803-404-6100. Were there any shoes that you had to have?
That you had to have.
Oh, well, we'll try to change the subject to Tad. Jamie Bradford due up in the next hour, and we'll talk more baseball. But were there any shoes you had to have? We'll discuss. You're listening to the early game.
Yo, Mars Blackman here with my main man, Michael Jordan. Yo, Mike, what makes you the best player in the universe? Is it the vicious stunts?
No, Mars.
Is it the haircut?
No, Mars.
Is it the shoes?
No, Mars.
Is it the extra long shorts?
No, Mars.
It's the shoes then, right?
Nah.
Is it the short socks?
No, Mars.
Money's gotta be the shoes. 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 You sure it's not the shoes?
I'm sure, Mars.
What about the shoes?
No, Mars.
Money's gotta be the shoes.
The old, it's got to be the shoes.
It's got to be the shoes, Bill.
That leads us to Asia Wilson, who is now getting her own shoe.
Signature shoe, the A1. Asia's the GOAT. I want to just make sure we say this very, very clearly. She had the ultimate flex this weekend. Not only did her professional team come and play in her stadium, more so than that, her teammates did a TikTok in front of her statue. Biggest sports accomplishment by far, by none. Can't accomplish more than that.
Oh, well. Did you see what the girls were decked out in?
Then she trolled them.
Exactly.
Beautiful trolling job in which Asia keeps a list of all of her teammates who play for other schools.
Uh-huh.
And the requirement of them is that when they lose to South Carolina, which everybody does currently, they have to be decked out in South Carolina gear. And so she went and bought each one of them South Carolina gear for the walkway, which is a big deal for the women.
Yep.
As they're walking into the games. They all had to be decked out in South Carolina gear.
And it was impressive gear. Like, they were all put together.
Very much so. Very much so. So
that was amazing, especially to see like Kate Martin come walking in, and one of the gals kind of covered her face or something. It was pretty funny.
Yeah, she went down the list, and all of them had to wear that South Carolina gear, basically doing the walk of shame into the game wearing South Carolina gear because their teams had lost. So overall, what a weekend. Not to mention flash billboard in 5 Points where they paint the store saying that her signature shoe is on the way, which is going to be called the A1, which is fantastic for Air Force Ones. If you know, you know. A lot of inside stuff, sneakerhead things going on there. Wonderful job.
Oh, it's not the steak sauce?
No. Not that I'm aware of, no.
Well, they were clear to say A'1, ONE. So they did not the
I got you.
not
Okay.
the number. Also, the apostrophe A with, Asia is magnifique.
Well done.
So did you have a pair of shoes that you had? Did you ever have?
Yeah, 95 Air Max, red. I had to have those shoes. I had to have those shoes so bad that I lied to my old man and told him that the shoes in the store fit when it clearly did not fit. I don't forget what size I needed.
Oh, no.
But they only had like the size below. And I was like, yeah, they fit. Yeah. And he was like, you sure? I was like, yeah, they're great. And he was like, you're going to wear these shoes.
Because you're going to wear them. Mm-hmm.
And I had to suffer for the span of that shoe's lifetime because my feet hurt so bad. But I had to have those shoes. So I looked cool on the outside, but I was crying on the inside. 95 Air Max. I had to have those shoes. And so my question, 803-404-6100, is there a pair of shoes that you had to have? Had to have. Not wanted, but you had to have them.
There was, and I don't even know what brand they were. I think they were Nike. Maybe I think they were Nike. I don't remember. But if you remember back in the day, I think it was Nike. It was a shoe, like a shell. But then on the inside, you had kind of like a sock almost that went with it. You could get different colors. And you could, the shell of the shoe, but it had like slits in it. So you could see the again, kind of like the sock, kind of like the foamish type sock. So that one day, and it was a big draw for basketball because you could go.
You could switch the socks out.
You could switch the socks out. So one day it might be gold, one day it might be blue, it might be red. You could say the shoe would be. That would be the one. I think that's the one that I specifically remember.
You had to have it.
It's interesting because as I got older and I got into middle school basketball, I learned about the weight of shoes.
Oh, okay.
And so,
you going for performance?
Honestly, with basketball shoes, I went away from what might have been cool to what I felt was lighter because obviously at my height, dunking might have been an issue, and I needed every bit of help I could get.
Yeah, performance is not an issue for my 95 Air Max. I just needed that shoe. Matter of fact, I still try and find that shoe, and it's eluded me. If I find that 95 Air Max, I will buy that shoe regardless of price. So my question is for everybody, what is your shoe? It could be a sneaker. It could be a performance thing like Bill. Maybe it's a boot. But I feel like shoes are very, very important to people. And as we get older, we lose sight of how important these things are.
I beg to differ on that.
And I'll say this, Asia. You got to nail this one. because we, the Thorne family, will have a family set. And so we are waiting.
Oh.
We are waiting for this. It said it's going to be rolling out men's, women's, and kids. We will have a set. And so we have to make sure we nail this one, Asia.
I'll get to these text
I'm confident,
messages.
though.
Gene, John, Mike, David, all weighing in. I'll get to all these in the next hour. Let's get out to the Love Chevy phone lines real quick. Got about 30 seconds real quick. David, I apologize. We got Jamie Bradford. What's on your mind this morning?
No problem. Just wanted to dispute a cliche with Preston. It's always darkest before it goes completely black.
Nicely done.
There you go. Thank you.
Y'all have a great day.
You too, David. Thank you for the phone
Thank you
call.
for getting the show.
That could be a show open.
There you go.
What shoe did you have to have? What shoe did you have to have? For me, it was the 95 Air
Jamie
Max.
goes, had to have the Bo Jackson Nike cross trainers.
That's a big
Never
one.
got them. Texter goes with Larry Johnson, black and turquoise. Converse.
Fire.
David goes, when I was 6, the light up Skechers because they made me run fast.
Of course.
Mike C goes with Reebok pumps.
Pump 'em
John,
up.
the black Scotty Pippins that had air embroidered
Man, I
on
wanted
the
it
side.
on the side. It was diagonal. Woo.
And is it more men and women? I'm curious about that.
Good question.
Hour 2 on the way. Bill Gunner for Love Chevrolet. The Springtacular sale still going on. Still time for you to get over there and check out some exclusive, incredible deals at Love Chevrolet. I-26 in Harbison between Lowe's and Frankie's Fun Park. I don't know what you might be looking for, but I guarantee this, you're going to find it at Love Chevrolet. Whether it's a Suburban, a Tahoe, a Silverado, maybe one of the Trailblazers, it's time for you to get behind the wheel and feel the possibilities. New adventures, new roads, new destinations all await you this summer, and it all starts with a trip to Love Chevrolet, where 14 acres of Chevys. You're guaranteed to find the car, truck, or SUV you've been looking for. You're going to find the make, the model, the interior, the exterior, and with that incredible sales staff, so friendly, so knowledgeable, ready to help you from the second you drive onto the lot to the second you leave with that huge smile and that great brand new vehicle. Visit Love Chevrolet, again, I-26 in Harbison between Lowe's and Frankie's Fun Park, and together, let's drive.
And out on the highways this Monday morning, we're looking at Gator Road at Highway 302 is the only slowdown. Hope that is the only one that we will encounter this morning. Forecast looks pretty good, though. Looking for a high today of 79, 77 tomorrow. Might see a passing shower or so. Then back in the 80s. So we're going to be mid-80s through most of the week, and we're really going to stay in the 80s through next week. So it's looking a little bit more like summer all the time. Obviously, summer's coming a little bit because it's already lighter out right now. It is currently a little breezy and 59 on the early game.
Seven a.m. as we get you going here on a Monday, May the 13th, fresh off of Darlington, fresh off of baseball, fresh off of the Wells Fargo. I tell you what, we actually have a big event right now. Gonna see if I can find it on TV for Preston. Ronnie weighed in earlier. Preston's guy, Somerville native.
My guy.
Patrick Walters is leading the Bassmaster over on Lake Murray. I watched it a good bit this week. I was really, that was the way to start the morning. Get up, flip on the television, see if there was any boats out in front of my house, yell at them, see if I could scare the fish away, be a completely unruly observer. But Bassmaster taking place. They are down to the top 10 today. Ronnie weighed in a little while ago. I didn't get to this. He weighed in on in the first hour. He pointed out that Patrick Walters was leading the Bassmaster going into today. He's got a 9-pound lead, and J.T. Tompkins from Myrtle Beach is second.
Patrick all the way.
So some PD and Low Country boys dominating there.
You said his name was J.T. what?
J.T. Tompkins.
He sounds like an angler.
So they are off. They should be taking off here moment, if not now. It's 7:01. It was scheduled for 7 a.m. So I'm guessing they're taking off day 3 though, or the final day of fishing down to reset this. Are they doing it at 8 a.m. this morning? It says 42 minutes. It says live starts in 42 minutes. But we'll keep you updated. Minn Kota Bassmaster Elite at Lake Murray. Really cool for our state again to have that this weekend. To have Darlington taking place. Brad Keselowski gets the victory yesterday. Jen was just showing us the video she took. We got to dig more into this.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's awesome. How in the world did Lenore Sellers end up in Brad Keselowski's pit? And then as we've said, Brad Keselowski wins, which I think pretty much guarantees South Carolina football is going to win a national championship.
I mean, yeah.
Dark horse.
He's already labeled a dark horse Heisman. Jamie Bradford, were you aware of this? Can you have anything you can weigh in on this morning? Lenore Sellers ending up in Brad Keselowski's kind of pit area yesterday. Jen showed the video. He's sitting right behind the crew chief. He's got the headphones on,
and it's because of the glasses and the headphones. It's like, oh, this dude is obviously somebody important.
Yes,
he clearly is making some call here.
And I'm sure that the fact that we were stepping into the pit box and like zooming in on him, it was funny because I went in a little ways and Reggie's like, here, just give me your phone. I'll get in there. Okay, I'll be the brazen TV guy. And so, yeah, we got footage of him just sitting there doing his thing.
I don't have anything to add to that except for in his heyday, I would have loved to have seen my good friend Steven Garcia down in that area.
You're probably not supposed to drink as much.
Yeah, I think Steven would have been in the infield.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, technically that is the infield.
Passed out under an RV.
Yeah.
Yes, I think so. But
Possibly.
he was. But Lenore, I did clarify. He was wearing a Ricky Bobby shirt. If you ain't first, you're last.
That's it.
So rock on.
Well, probably a pretty good shirt to wear down there. That's
100%.
smart marketing on his part.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still the fact that he ended up in the Keselowski. It's one thing if Keselowski didn't win, and you're like, oh, well, that's cool. That's cool for Lenore.
I need to compare sponsors. Like, does he have an NIL deal with somebody who is similar to, or does he just have a really good manager?
We'll have to put our investigative team on this.
I could never get him though. I thought throwing things at him to get his attention.
Let's see.
Jamie, we are deputizing you. Please find this out for us.
Get us the information on how Lenore Sellers, how this occurred, because now that to me, I'm now hyped for football season.
See?
That's what changed my opinion.
Look, we're all looking for small wins around here. Okay?
Are we not?
So,
and unfortunately, that leads us into the other thing this weekend, Jamie. Not good. Not good. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, not good over at Founders Park. We got into a little bit, but your takeaway from what was a rough weekend for South Carolina baseball.
Yeah, it was a debacle. I mean, it couldn't have gone any worse, honestly. You couldn't have drawn it up to be any worse than that. So, you just have to turn the page. Nothing you can do about it. I mean, to give some credit here, go find me a hotter team in college baseball than Georgia, because you probably can't. I mean, they are on a roll. I mean, they're just steamrolling people right now, and they are. I don't know any way that they're not a top 8 national seed. That would be dadgum near impossible at this point in time. They've got the Gators coming to town this weekend. That's important for both, for them to stay in that conversation, which, again, they're probably towards the top of it. And then Florida is one game over 500. If they finish under 500, they do not qualify for the postseason. You got the SEC tournament coming up, but you can't finish under 500 and qualify for the postseason unless you win the conference tournament, which they won't be able to do that. They just don't have enough to do it. So Florida is in jeopardy of missing the postseason. So that's a crucial series for them. I got news for everybody. So is South Carolina. Isn't that crazy? I mean, sitting with an RPI at 18, but now still only 13 conference wins. They have to go on the road to Knoxville. It's not a good spot to be in. They lost 3 quad 1 wins because Vandy is outside of the top 25 now in the RPI. So anybody who beat Vandy, like at home, has lost those quad 1 victories. And the Commodores have to go to Kentucky this weekend. And Vanderbilt on the road this year is putrid, like putrid. They have been swept 3 times on the road in the SEC. It's putrid. So I don't know what's going to happen to them in Lexington, but it's not a good spot for the Gamecocks to be in.
To clarify, your thoughts on postseason? I feel like you were saying South Carolina's not a lock for postseason
They're
play.
not.
Ooh.
No, they're not. You can't win 13 games in the league and get into the postseason. I think that's only been done like once or twice maybe. So, like, you do have to win games. I mean, look, as of today, I would say that they're still gonna get in, but I mean, they're 33-18, and if you roll out the worst case scenario again this coming weekend, they're at 33-21, 13-17 in the league. They have to do. They're gonna have to go to Hoover and win some games. I mean, I'm not saying that they're out. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying that there is a scenario where they could not be in.
Happy Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hate to do that to you boys, but I mean, it's just reality. I mean, I try to be real, right? I know people get mad at me because I'm positive about things, but like, this is also a reality. It just kind of is what it is right now. So they win a game in Knoxville, I don't think you've got anything to worry about. They're going to be in. Now, they're not hosting, but they'll be in. They'll have to go on the road somewhere. And just, hey, guys, and just like basketball, there's bid stealers, right? There's bid stealers. So if you win 13 games in the league, now granted, it's the most difficult league in the country. If you win just 13 games, you go 13-17. You have to pray that there are not bid stealers around the country in like some of the smaller conferences. Like for instance, like in the Coastal Athletic or the CAA used to be the Colonial, right? So you've got to hope that, like, the College of Charleston wins it. You're pulling for Chad Holbrook, or you're pulling for UNC Wilmington, one of those teams like that has a chance to be an at-large, but also has a chance to win the conference tournament. Like, you don't want like a William and Mary coming out of nowhere and winning a league like that and stealing a bid, because then they start looking around and they go, well, you know, I mean, at the end of the day, like, you talk about a 43 RPI, for instance, for UNC Wilmington. Well, that's nowhere close to 18 at South Carolina. But if you go get swept up in Knoxville and now you're down somewhere in the mid-20s and you just haven't won enough games, I mean, these things, it starts to play itself out a little bit. It's not a good spot to be in. I'm just being real with you. Now, again, I think that they're in today, but there is a scenario where they can miss the tournament. Yes.
Well, to go to your point, I think we'll get into this, talk a little bit about the pitching, because now you gear up to go to number 1 Tennessee. I assume Tennessee will still be number 1. They went 3-1 last week. Losing only the Vanderbilt game there. I would assume Tennessee will stay number 1. So now you've got to gear up and go to Tennessee. And we'll talk a little bit about that and get your opinion on the pitching situation for South Carolina. What is kind of transpiring there? What you see from your vantage point that has led them down the path that they are at? So a bright and cheery Monday morning to you out there. Yes?
Yeah. Hate to do that to you. Well, so look, and I know we got to go to break. It's 7:10. I get it. But South Carolina, Vanderbilt, Florida, Alabama, Ole Miss, all of those teams, the Gamecocks more than them. They've got 13 wins in the league. But Vanderbilt, Florida, I just told you what their situations are this coming weekend. Not easy ones. Florida's got to go to Georgia. Vandy's got to go to Kentucky. But those are big RPI opportunities, just like the Gamecocks going to Knoxville, right? Alabama sits at 12-15 in the league, 32-19 overall. They've got to go to Auburn. Auburn's terrible, but you know, Bama's still got just 12 wins. Like, if Bama goes and loses the series at Auburn, are they getting in? I don't know. I mean, these are the Ole Miss at 11-16, just 3 games over 500, and they've got to go to LSU. They've got Southern Miss on the road this week. Like, if they go 4-0, does Ole Miss backdoor their way into the tournament? Because their RPIs at 22 could be up around 15 or more. If that improves, does that knock out of South Carolina? You see what I'm saying here?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's 6 or 7 teams in the SEC alone, number 1 conference in the country, and they all have – there's 6, I think. And they all have right now losing conference records, all of them. So, like, there is a scenario where this thing changes, and it happens quick.
It's a peppy morning here on the early game. You got a good cliche?
In order for the grass to grow, you need a little bit of rain.
Very good.
Well, they need a lot of damn rain to make sure that grass looks good. I can tell you that. But I mean, they're in it. They're in it. Hey, you go winning 2 in Knoxville this weekend. Yeah, this conversation is flat over. I mean, I'm telling you, it comes down to a game or two after you play 56 of these things. Sometimes it's crazy.
803-404-6100. We'll talk a little pitching, and we'll also figure out which pair of shoes Jamie Bradford needed most when he was growing up. We'll get into that as well. You're listening to Bill Gunner, Preston Thorne, Jen Jensen, Jamie Bradford on a Monday. It's the early game. Bill Gunner for First Palmetto Bank and the mortgage guru, Jacob Crowder. As we roll through the month of May, how about it? We're almost halfway through the month of May. You might be thinking about the back half of the year. You might be thinking about what you're going to do with your home. Maybe you want to buy a brand new home. Maybe you've been searching around, getting on Zillow, looking all over, and you want to buy a new home. Maybe you found that great piece of property and you're ready to build on the home. One of the things you need to do is get in touch with the mortgage guru, Jacob Crowder. First Palmetto Bank is locally owned and operated right here in the Midlands, so they have local decision makers, which means quick and precise underwriting. So if you're looking to make a move, give the mortgage guru a call today, 803-719-1005. With interest rates stabilizing a little bit, the housing market settling down a tad, now is the time to contact Jacob Crowder and see what you can get, what is available to you. 803-719-1005. Contact the mortgage guru, Jacob Crowder, today. Tell him Bill Gunner sent you.
Well, we don't appear to be Mondaying right now out on the highways, and that's good news. Gator Road at Highway 302 is the only accident they appear to be working at this point. Hope it stays that way. And we're looking for a high of 79 today, 77 tomorrow with some passing storms. And then we hit the 80s, and really we will stay in the 80s for probably a good week or so, low to mid 80s that is. But right now, a little bit breezy, kind of overcast right now, 59 on the early game.
Reminder, go to 1075thegame.com and register for the Palmetto Citizens FCU Grand Slam giveaway. Again, it's the Palmetto Citizens FCU Grand Slam giveaway. Every game, $25 is added to the pot. If a Gamecock hitter gets a Grand Slam, you win all the cash in the pot, $1,275. There's been no Grand Slams this year. I'm going to ask Jamie and Preston, is that normal? I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, it's not obviously a lot of factors go into a Grand Slam. It's not just hitting a home run. I have no idea if that's normal or not. But right now, you've got a chance to clean up. You can get the whole pot, a little summer money for you, a little gas money, $1,275. The Palmetto Citizens FCU Grand Slam giveaway. What you need to do is go to 1075thegame.com and register. And I don't know if they hit a Grand Slam this weekend. We'll pull a name. If it's you, you just won yourself $1,275. If they do it in the game 2, it'll be $1,300. If it's game 3, $1,325. If no Grand Slams have been hit prior, you get the point. 803-404-6100 if you want to weigh in this morning. Again, reminder, go to 1075thegame.com and register the Palmetto Citizens FCU Grand Slam giveaway. Is that normal? Is that, Jamie, is that normal? I don't know. Huh?
Not normal. No.
Is it?
Not normal at all.
I mean, it takes a lot of factors to go into it, so I'm not – it could just totally be random, but that doesn't seem to be – South Carolina's bats seem to be fine. As a matter of fact, really this weekend, they probably scored enough runs to win 2 of 3 and maybe even sweep. It's the pitching. What do you see right now from a pitching standpoint, aside from just it not being good, that is concerning?
I mean, there's just a lot of guys who never cemented their role, and then you get to the end of the season and you're still trying to figure out your role, and that's generally not where you want to be. It's not that new roles can't emerge and be successful with them. I mean, one of the great heroes in the history of the program, of the athletics department, is a guy named Michael Roth. I mean, when was he discovered, right? In Omaha. So it's not like that's totally unusual. Now that's pretty unusual, but there's just been a lot of guys who never were able to, not that they're not good. They are. They've got good arms. I'm not saying that. Like, this is not a diss on any of these players or anything. That's not me. I would never do that to them. But you've seen a lot of guys carry a lot of different weight this year. They go from starter to middle reliever, we saw Garrett Gainey start this weekend, and hat tip to my friend Coach Lake, because, he pointed out last week it'd be probably a good thing to have a lefty in the rotation, and he thought Garrett actually is a guy who could do it. I mean, he did start up at Liberty, and he was phenomenal on Saturday, and then they couldn't, once he got out of there, problem solved for Georgia. So, I don't know if they've lost confidence or anything like that. I can't speak to any of that, but you work all year generally when you get put into a role, and you work to perfect that role. And I feel like a lot of guys have kind of juggled them back and forth, and here we are. Again, I want to make sure I do this. Guys, Georgia right now is going to probably beat anybody that they play. Seriously. I mean, they are on fire. So what happened this weekend was magnified by the hottest team in college baseball. They haven't lost since April the 27th. And remember that game? They were up 9-0 in the first inning at Texas A&M. 9-0. And they somehow lost 19-9. And that just, since then, I mean, they have won every game, and they've scored in double digits every single game the last 2 weekends. Vanderbilt and South Carolina, 10-14-11, 14-11, 14. You don't see that, man. Not in this league. No way. So they got to make sure you give them a bunch of credit. But, South Carolina's they've still got question marks with the pitching staff moving forward, and it's going to be a difficult place to solve those problems because you got to get to Knoxville.
Jamie, just a curiosity. We accept the idea that bats can get hot, offense can get hot, can come to stages. Is there any precedent for saying that teams can go the other way as far as pitching is concerned? Can pitching get cold or hot, or is pitching different than hitting?
No, I mean, there's some similarities, yeah, for sure. I mean, but it's obviously comes in a little bit of a different form. For instance, in offense, right, Preston, when you play offense in football, you know what you're going to do, right? And when you play defense, you don't know what they're going to do. You think you know, and you prepare to know, but you don't. You're not out there performing that duty. Your job is to make sure that they don't do that. It's kind of a similar deal in baseball, where offense and defense, you're going to prepare a little bit different. You're going to see different things, and sometimes when you fit guys into different roles and they perform, it allows another guy to move to a different role and perform, and then that can kind of spiral in the right direction for you. So, I mean, there's some truth in that. I mean, it would take me a while, I think, to go through all the scenarios in which it's different, but they can get into a groove, and sometimes it's as simple as just having a great Friday night start. You just get a guy who goes out there and gives you 7 innings of 4 or 5 hit baseball, gives up 1 run, and sets the tone for the rest of the weekend. The other team just kind of falls asleep at the wheel, and you pick up the pace, and you get rolling from there.
So I guess my question would be, as we look at the pitching, is it a case of simply not having the arms, or is it a case of, execution, as coaches would say?
I think there's a little bit of both, but with a star there, because they've got good arms on this team. Now, like, do they have Hayden Smith, the kid from Arkansas? No, and I think this team would tell you that. I mean, maybe they do eventually, but right now they don't. They've got a bunch of good arms, and there's a bunch of really good kids who work really, really hard, and it just hasn't worked out for some of them. And so, but also, like, some of them just aren't performing. Some of them, and they would tell you that. They'd be the first ones to tell you that. Yeah, I'm just not pitching the way that I should. So it's a little bit of a mixture of both. Like, they don't have a guy they can just roll out there. Like, we saw Paul Skeens come in here last year. Right? That guy's he's a 1 in a million guy. But you don't have dudes that are remote and close to that. You get a bunch of really good arms who really need to pitch well and grind their way through things, and just it hadn't been going their way.
You bring up an interesting point as you talk about the Friday night starter setting the tone maybe for the weekend. 2 weekends in a row, Roman Kimball not able to get out of the first inning, and maybe, I hate to say it, but set the tone this past weekend by only being able to get 1 out. Both starting pitchers on Thursday night not able to get out of the first inning. Where do you go? Where does Jamie Bradford go if you're setting your weekend rotation right now? You look ahead to Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Thursday night's ball game, by the way, 6:15 pregame right here on 107.5 The Game, 6:30 first pitch. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, where do you go to try and get something this weekend to give yourself a chance?
Well, I'll tell you where I would go, but you can't. I would go to Garrett Gainey, but you can't because he pitched on Saturday. So you're not going to be able to do that. So they're probably what they're going to do. I would imagine what they're going to do is look at the matchups this weekend, and you've got to win a game, guys. You have to win a game. You cannot get swept again. So you've got to win a game, and they're probably going to look at Tennessee and see who they're planning to start, which their rotation is much more set than what the Gamecocks are dealing with right now. And then they'll probably go from there. Now, what does that look like? Does that mean that, it might not be somebody's pick? Like, I can hear a ton of people out there right now going, Ty Good, Ty Good, Ty Good. What's this guy I've been watching? Ty Good. Hey, it might be Ty Good. I'm not saying that it won't. But what I am saying is that they're going to have to figure out, and Matt Williams has already been doing this. Like, he's the pitching coach. He's way ahead of some guy on the radio at 7:30 on Monday morning. They're going to have to figure out what the best case scenario is for them to go win at least a game. And they're going to have to find the matchup for that. Like, they don't have a set Friday through Sunday rotation, even though they start Thursday this week. They don't have that. So they have to go figure out the best matchup. And that might mean they have kind of what's called a PDS, a predetermined split. They probably wouldn't announce it as that, but in the back of their minds, that might be something they're looking at doing, as in, like, maybe Ty Good is the guy we roll out there. We plan on going 3 innings with him, and then we're going to Matthew Becker. And then we plan on throwing 3 innings with him, and then we're going to whoever, Tyler Pitcher or Chris, whatever it is. So, Bill, I would love to give you concrete answer, man. I really would, but that's not. I can't do that. It's not fair. They're in a very interesting situation right now, so they have to kind of work this angle a little bit differently as opposed to just going, well, he's the best arm, put him out there on Thursday. It's just not that simple right now.
803-404-6100. We'll continue on with Jamie on this, get into a little bit of football discussion as well. Some stuff said last week by Andy Staples and Lenore Sellers being a dark horse Heisman candidate. We'll pick Jamie's brain about that. Again, going to need to remember to ask him about his shoes. We'll get into that as well. A lot to do. You're listening to the early game. Bill Gunner for Old Timey Meat Market. It was a phenomenal week, and you had so many great sports going on and so many opportunities to grill out, and that's exactly what we did. You know what? Old Timey Meat Market, you think, oh, they've just got hamburgers. No. They've got incredible hamburgers. Cheddar in them. Had a hamburger this weekend with jalapeno in it. Absolutely delicious. And that's not the only thing at Old Timey Meat Market. You can buy in bulk, a 5-pound box of chicken breast. Maybe you want a nice 5-pound box of ribeye steaks. Old Timey Meat Market, whether it's St. Andrews Road in Irmo, Lexington store, you always find me there, or South Congaree, their business is built on the idea of providing the area with a non-grocery store meat buying experience. Whatever you're looking for, whether it's beef, pork, poultry, seafood, Old Timey Meat Market has it taken care of. And I'm telling you what, right now with the weather, it is grilling season. So stop by St. Andrews Road today, South Congaree, or the Lexington store. Pick out a great piece of meat grill tonight. Tell them Bill Gunner sent you.
Out there on the highways this morning, we are looking at 2 accidents. I-26 eastbound there at I-20. That would be exit 107B right there in Malfunction Junction. Also, Pilgrim Church Road near Old Cherokee, an accident there, so be careful in Lexington as well. 79 for the high today, 77 tomorrow. Might see a passing storm or two for your Tuesday, but then get into the low to mid 80s really for about the next week. Maybe some evening showers come Friday again, but right now it's a little overcast. We have just a little bit of a breeze out there and currently sitting at 59 on the early game.
$7:35 as we roll along here on a Monday morning. Jamie Bradford joining us as he always does on Mondays to kind of talk a little baseball, and we'll switch gears a little bit. Last week, Andy Staples on a podcast. Interesting things, Jamie, about Lenora Sellers. We've been cutting up this morning because of Lenora ending up there in the box with Brad Keselowski. I think the question here becomes, when do we have to slow down and be like, hey, this young man still has a lot to prove. Maybe we shouldn't overhype him as I accidentally or did during football season when he threw an absolute dime against Furman and then made a bunch of Vanderbilt defenders look silly, and they basically went ahead and sent him an invitation to New York for the Heisman already. When do we pull back on this leading up to that Old Dominion game?
On Heisman talk?
Well, I'm joking somewhat, although I think I'm just going to lean into this for the next 3 months.
If it makes you feel any better, it's dark horse Heisman.
Yeah, dark horse. Yeah, in all seriousness,
if that makes you feel any better.
Yeah, that is true. In all seriousness, Andy Staples did label him a dark horse Heisman contender.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, Andy, I appreciate that, and I'm sure the Gamecocks do, and Lenore's. I'm not laughing like that's not me laughing at this kid as a talent. Are you kidding me? He's incredibly talented. We all know that. I just get amazed at some of the things that come up in May and June and July before football season. And this one is leading us off here. We're getting cranked up soon this year, boys. Here we go. Lenore Sellers is on a Heisman list. He's thrown 4 collegiate passes.
But Jamie, hold up. I'm stealing Preston's line. But Jamie, spring game, 9 of 11. Did you see it?
Oh,
I saw it. 9 of 11.
Yeah. That's a good point. All right. Well, with that said, then, I don't know. I was just at Harrah's last weekend up in Cherokee. I might as well put some money on this deal. I'm going to get rich, and then I won't be waking up at 7 a.m. to talk to y'all on Monday anymore after he wins the Heisman. I'm going to bed happy. Look, man, I mean, good for him. It's great for in all seriousness, honestly. This is great for Carolina football, right? It's great for Carolina football. I mean, the large majority of conversations around the Gamecocks are going to be negative going into the year. Coming off of a season, they didn't make a bowl. Most of the lists that have Lenora Sellers on them, that we've already cranked this up. The quarterback ranking list expert John Smith from Inside Football Talk in Alaska has got the top 16 quarterbacks in the SEC. The guy's never seen any of them play, but he's going to rank all 16 quarterbacks in April. And most all those lists have Lenoris at the bottom of them, and probably rightfully so. He hadn't played like these other guys. So you hear a guy like Andy who's incredibly credible, very, very good, very tuned in. And he's tuned into the Gamecock football program, say things like that. That's nothing but positive for Carolina football.
I do want, in all seriousness, we'll see as we get closer. Today's the 13th, so we are roughly about 2 months away from SEC media. By the way, we've had a new countdown going on. Did we inform Jamie of our new countdown? Did we start that last week?
Jamie, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but it's 10 days until 100 days until the football season. So keep that in mind.
That starts today. So what you're saying is we're 110 days away?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying we're 10 days until 100 days.
Yeah. The countdown to the countdown. Yeah, you know how these things work.
Hey, my birthday is December 12th. Do you mind running the numbers on that for me?
I'll add that one for you. I'll be right back. Let me go to the research department real quick.
I do just with Lenore, because you know this. You've covered, you deal with fan base. You've covered it. I do think the hype around him. I do think there's a level of almost pulling back on it some, because as you pointed out, he's thrown 4 passes, but this is a young man who there is becoming, I feel like with each passing day, more of an aura around him, more of something that we are expecting that maybe we shouldn't expect right away, just because he's never started a college game. And you said, and that's why I just putting a lot of expectation on him, especially early in the season when you've got those games on the road at Kentucky, which you got to win, LSU here. Those first 2 out of the gate are, besides Old Dominion, are huge.
Yeah, enormous. And I'm always very cautious with these things, because I see how long have you been in media? For 20 years? I mean, how many times have we seen this, not just at South Carolina, but wherever? Preston, you played the game at South Carolina. You know exactly what I'm about to say here. You hear about these kids, and I'm not pointing to any kid in particular. And this isn't even about Lenore Sellers. This is just about in general. You hear about kids. You hear about them. You hear about them. You hear about them. They get these expectations that get built up in the minds of people who don't know anything. They read the newspaper. They read the message boards. They read Twitter, or back in the day, they just literally read the newspaper. And then they go out there and they're expecting to see Joe Montana or Brett Favre, and they don't see that, and then it becomes into teardown mode. That's instantly where you go. Kid makes one mistake, and I guess he isn't going to be. Put the next guy in there. This guy's terrible. Well, he's a freshman, sir. Yeah, well, I heard he was good. Well, he is good. He's threw a pick against Georgia. They're number 2 in the country. It happens. So like you just. I feel for these kids who get all these expectations built around them, and it's the most wide open world we've ever lived in when it comes to that. I'm always very, very cautious, not because I don't believe, but because I just feel like it's only fair to the kid to allow his play to build that momentum, as opposed to somebody with a right hand and a pencil.
It's going to be a lot. I think it's fun. I think I am getting a little more excited to see him. We'll continue talking about that. Obviously.
Well, I'll say this. Let me say this. I know you got to get a break, but I'll say this. When is the last time a new quarterback came into South Carolina after the last quarterback left, who also was on quote dark horse Heisman list, and then this guy is being mentioned by anybody out there? Again, I'm an Andy Staples fan. Like, I like Andy. So he's not just some no-name. He's Andy Staples. But when's the last time you had a quarterback come in and replace a guy like that here at South Carolina and be mentioned in that category? I don't think it's ever happened, has it? Like, ever.
No, and that's another reason. That's another reason why I say this might be. There is a fine line between getting hyped and being excited, and I think, again, jokingly, tongue-in-cheek, we're crossing that line into multiple Heisman discussions. Not sure how South Carolina. I don't see a loss on the schedule. I don't know about you two. Now with Lenore's, I don't. But there is, in all seriousness, being a fine line in what you just said, which is a great point. The first time he makes a mistake, everybody say, wait a minute, where's Robbie Ashford? Or where's Dante Reno? Or, oh, my goodness, we've got to hit the transfer portal this offseason and find an elite quarterback. And this is a big year. We'll talk, obviously, we've got plenty of days. We apparently have 10 days.
Speaking of days, 212, Jamie. Start your countdown. 212 days to your birthday, sir.
Woo. I appreciate that. I've been waiting on getting to 200 so I can put a clock up in my house.
12 days to 200.
12 days
to 200.
Mm-hmm.
We're
all right.
We are the show full of countdowns.
That's how you teach the girls to count.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. They're up to like 30 right now, and they're 5. That's pretty good.
That's better than Bill, so that's impressive.
Got a 6 yesterday.
Yeah, you're right.
Coming
I
all the
can
way to
get them to
6. Got to the
200 by
second hand.
December.
Second hand. All right. Let's hit a break now as we've made enough fun of me in this segment. We will move back to shoe discussion when we return. It's the early game. Bill Gunner for Mid-State Roofing. For nearly 30 years, Larry Leitner and the Mid-State Roofing family, they have been taking care of Columbia, of Florence, of Myrtle Beach, of the state of South Carolina. Shoot, they've even been roofing the world. They roofed a Planet Hollywood down in Myrtle Beach one time, and so therefore, you get the point. They roofed the world. The bottom line is Mid-State Roofing is there to make sure your roof is ready to handle some of these summer thunderstorms, the hail that comes with it. If you're not thinking about it, that's okay. They are, and they're ready to take care of you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They have a on-call technician or a Mid-State Roofing employee ready to take your phone call. So make the call today and get yourself a maintenance contract with Mid-State Roofing. 803-356-1919. Again, that's 803-356-1919. Mid-State Roofing designs and installs bonded systems with a protective guarantee. They'll keep your operation dry and running long into the future. 803-356-1919. Are tax troubles weighing you down? They don't need to be. Nope, not with summer on the way. You need to be stress-free and ready to relax and get excited about football season. And with the Ecton Law Firm, they're ready to help you if you've had any issues of late. Of course, the IRS, well, they're looking to send out those dreaded notices of intent to levy here in 2024. And if you've received one, don't fret. Call John Ecton today. 803-771-9800. You can get a free consultation. They have a local team dedicated to resolving your income or business tax issues for good. They have the solutions. They know what they're doing. They are the professionals. Lean on the Ecton Law Firm if you've been experiencing any of these issues lately. 803-771-9800. You can also check them out on the web. That is EctonLawFirm.com. ECTON lawfirm.com. Call them today. Tell them Bill Gunner sent you. Wrapping it up with Jamie Bradford. We have discussed baseball. We have analyzed that, broken it down. Jamie, both Preston and I said the team is what they are who they are. The only thing you can do is wherever you've been, ride it out. If you've been on the bandwagon, if you've believed in, you continue to believe in them, you stay with it. 3 games left in the regular season, the SEC tournament, and just see where they wrap up. If you've been against them, or I shouldn't say against them, but if you've had questions, a lot of this will be answered over the next 3 to 4 weeks. It'll all work itself out. At least to my knowledge, nobody listening can get a base hit or throw a pitch or get an out. So all we can do is sit back and wait, and we'll continue to do that. That big series this weekend, they go on the road to Tennessee, take on the Volunteers for that. And just, you mentioned it, they have to somehow, some way find a way to win one game, right?
Yeah, they got to win a game. I mean, to be clear about what I was saying earlier, because I'm sure somebody's going to call in the 8 o'clock hour, and it's going to make Jen's life hell until 9 o'clock, and then the next guy's going to call in, and then the next guy, and then the next guy. I'm not saying they're not making the tournament. That's not what I'm saying. What I was saying was it changes quickly, and they're in a very interesting situation with 13 wins. And if you go back to 2018, Coach Tanner was the chair of the NCAA selection committee for baseball, okay? And 10 teams got in, all right? And they could have had 11. But the 11th team was Kentucky. Everything from a metric standpoint worked out. Everything. The only thing that didn't is they had 13 wins in the SEC. They were 13-17, and then they lost their opening round game in the SEC tournament in Hoover. All right, you see what I'm saying here? And that record for Kentucky was 34-22. I think their RPI was number 30. Now the Gamecocks RPI is at 18, but they haven't gone on the road and played Tennessee yet. So it's like, now if you get 14 wins, I don't see it. I don't see any way that they get left out. I really don't. But if you stick with 13 and this slide continues, and you get bid stealers and you don't have a nice run in Hoover, there's a scenario here where you go from knocking on the door of a top 8 national seed the last couple of weeks to not even being in the tournament. That is real. That's how slippery the slope is. If you had to select the tournament today, where there are no more games being played, that's it. Gamecocks are in. There's no question. But they're 13-14, and that is 1 game under 500 in league play, not 4 games under 500. So they got to go. They got to go win this week. Their backs are against the wall, and we'll see how they perform.
We'll talk a lot about that. Obviously, next Monday, we will at that point have wrapped it up. We'll know the SEC tournament schedule as well. And again, I say we'll have a better idea. I think we all have a good idea of what this team is and where they're going and what they can do. We just have to let it play out. So we'll do that and obviously get more into that next Monday with Jamie. Now, Jamie, the real question of the morning. Preston, I've been talking about Asia Wilson, signature shoe. Preston Thorne, signature shoe.
The A1. She's got a signature shoe. It's been in the works for over a year. So much like most rest of the things in the world, there was a Twitter spat over whether or not she should have her shoe, and it was already being done, and it's done now. But my question to you, Jamie, what shoe did you have to have at some point in your life? What shoe did you have to have?
Flip-flops.
Okay, now were they rainbow flip flops? Were they Birkenstocks?
They were rainbows.
There you go. See, that's what I'm saying. Because you couldn't just have flip flops because we would laugh you out of the Wando hallways.
No.
You had to have rainbows, correct?
It had to be the rainbows, man. That was it.
What is this? What age are we discussing here? What age?
I don't know. Probably like, when did I start wearing? Probably, I guess, 13 or 14, right? Somewhere in there.
Mm-hmm.
And all the way through, I don't know how long that lasted. I mean, I still have flip-flops, but they're not rainbows. I don't wear rainbows anymore. I like Volcoms now because my feet have gotten a little bit, they've changed with old age, so I need something that's a little bit softer for me. So I switched to the Volcoms.
Now, during those formative years, what was the second brand or the off-brand rainbows? Was there someone where people would be like, he has on the off-brand rainbows?
No, because I kick your, you know what, if you made fun of my shoes.
Jeez.
I was the school bully, man. 5'8", 180 pounds of me. You didn't want any part of this.
You never have a pair of basketball shoes that you really wanted?
Let me say this again, Bill. I was a 5'8", 180-pound white kid at Wando. I didn't need basketball shoes.
You didn't even venture over to that side of the sports store, huh? Oh, look at those shoes over there. Those are pretty. I'll stay this side. All right. What's it like over there? Huh? Okay. All right. Cool.
Back in the day, the sportsman shop was where you got your shoes down here. The sportsman shop. Did you ever go there, Preston?
Yes, sir. Yes, I have.
Yeah. So they didn't even let me in that section. They kept me.
Sir, no, over there.
The rainbow's over there.
Jamie, we always appreciate it. We always appreciate it. Always a lot of fun.
Sorry to tee you boys up. Best of luck to you. I'll see you next week.
Take care. Jamie Bradford, as he always does, joins us on Monday. We'll come back. More shoe discussion. I'm told a major sports record fell this past weekend. Major. I have no clue. We'll talk about it. It's the early game.
Yeah, I'm going to need to. Listen carefully. Are you tired of living with regenerative treatments now? Then you need to call the folks at QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in regenerative medicine. It's now open, giving lasting relief to people with joint pain with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. QC Kinetics has over 100 clinics nationwide and has treated thousands of patients with incredible success. Their advanced protocols are an exciting way to manage pain from arthritis and injury without surgery, steroids, or pain pills. So if you got pain in your knees, shoulders, hip, or back, you need to check out these new treatments. They can actually help your body restore and repair itself. So call now to schedule your free consultation with the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics. Call now to schedule your medical consultation with the locals at QC Kinetics.
Campground Road at Shore Road. We have a report of an accident there. Also, I-20 westbound at Farrow Road. I-26 eastbound at I-20. The malfunction junction earning its name this morning. A tie-up there. And in Lexington, Pilgrim Church at Old Cherokee Road. 79 will be our high today. 77 tomorrow with some passing showers. And then it looks like we're in the low to mid-80s. Really for the rest of the week and into next week. So getting more tastes of summer-like conditions. Right now it's breezy and a little bit overcast. And looking at 59 on the early game.
I worked all summer cutting grass in 1992 to buy the orange and blue Bo Jacksons. Had to have them. That's from Neil on our text line this morning.
Shout out to you, Neil.
Asia Wilson getting a signature shoe, which has prompted the question, a more lighthearted, fun discussion than discussing a 3-game sweep by South Carolina baseball at the hands at Georgia this weekend. So we made it more lighthearted. We've sufficiently, for 2 hours, broke it down. We've sufficiently broke it down. It's not good.
Some may say bad.
Yeah, wasn't a good weekend. There's really no other way around it. And as if we were not down on it enough, Jamie Bradford came in and then really rained on the parade by saying they're not guaranteed to get in the NCAA tournament right now. If you go to the number 1 team in the country this weekend, you better win a game.
Which, to be honest, that was a little bit of a shocker because I think I've been operating under assumption that we were good.
Yeah. Yeah, both of us.
We're
not trying to.
Yeah, I thought that was the case, too, where the number 1 team, or, Georgia is highly ranked, highly respected, and whatever. So I wouldn't have thought that would have just completely blown our chances. So, yeah, maybe we were living in some kind of a fool's paradise.
I think we've so all of a sudden, this weekend now becomes significantly more important, but we have broke that down left, right, center, looked at everything, and just, quite frankly, bad weekend, and now South Carolina may be in a more precarious situation as it pertains to the NCAA tournament than we anticipated or thought, and we'll continue to monitor that and talk about it throughout the week. But there's a lot of things that happened over the weekend. It was an incredible sports weekend. Brad Keselowski, what was it, a 36-37 race not winning streak?
Oh, it was more than that. It's like 110.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. What I heard then, okay, it was way off. A big no win because again, you don't win.
Yeah, 110
but I don't know,
wins.
I don't know if you technically lose, but you still get paid money.
Correct. Yeah, it goes by scale, obviously, but yeah, 110 race winless streak.
110, and he does it because Lenora Sellers was in his pit box, and we will get to the bottom of this. We will get to the bottom of why Lenora Sellers was there. Jen was there yesterday, and Jen, real quick, atmosphere, everything. Josh Harris's first Darlington running it. I know he had to be very happy. Not sure if you had a chance to see him yesterday. I know he's probably trying to do all the things he has to do. But
yeah, he was buzzing about.
How was it down there yesterday?
No, it really was good. I walked over to the fan zone. That was busy. I was trying to get into the I never got over there after the race started. I was trying to get into the stands, like to see some of our listeners who had won. I was hoping to be able to catch up with them, but I just never got over there. But yeah, like I said, the fan zone, so many things that go on there and people having a blast. We saw Kerry Tharp. He couldn't stay away. So I talked to Kerry and his wife for a minute. And all the things, it was Tyler and I hung out in the media center and in and out of the pits. And it was a good time. It was a great race. Tyler Reddick dominated until the very end when bad luck happened and he made a poor choice and got into Chris Buescher and that kind of ended their days.
Did you see that?
Those were the fellas that were having a spirited
debate
debate.
afterwards. Yes,
I did see that.
And I mean, that was the second week in a row that Chris Buescher had just. I mean, he was leading at the time. Reddick had led the majority of the race, and then Buescher got ahead of him. All of that, yes, sir.
Speaking of, I'll tell you what, why don't we play that call, MRN. This is the MRN call of Chris Buescher and the Tyler Reddick contact coming down the stretch there at the end that cost Chris Buescher a chance to maybe 2 weeks in a row. Poor Chris Buescher. We'll also play some audio from that, but here is the MRN call of Chris Buescher and Tyler Reddick.
We got wrecked. I don't. I mean, that one's clear as day. Don't need any cameras to tell us, but I don't know what to say. We've raced each other really clean through the years. Try to be respectful about it, and thanks, Jack. Try to be really respectful about it, and we get used up. It's something that you just know is not going to work. So, just really pissed off about it right now. We certainly had a chance to win another one. Really proud to have that speed. Huge congratulations to Brad and the Six Bunch and Castro on their win. That's awesome. But man, I wanted it for our Fifth Third Bank group right here.
And in all fairness, because Tyler Reddick he just came down on him and shouldn't have, and he apologized afterwards and said, you know what, I didn't take him out on purpose. Like, we were running, I made a bad move, thought I was going to clear him. So it wasn't like it was an ominous thing, like, oh, I didn't do it, or right away. And saw him after the race, and Reddick just looked dejected. So
yeah, if you saw it obviously on television, Chris Buescher made a beeline for Tyler Reddick.
Yes, and
there's also a height difference.
Oh, big time.
There's a height. There's a physical. Yeah. You're showing me the picture. Did you see? I mean, I saw. Yeah, poor Tyler Reddick. Tyler.
No, Bill. This is where I'm going to have to say NASCAR is getting soft, because I feel like there was a time where Chris Buescher would have got out and there would have been less words and more swinging.
Oh yeah.
And there was a lot of talking and explanation here. And I was waiting for it to heat up, and it was very much Tyler Reddick was like, "Hey man, guys, listen, it's gonna be okay."
That's exactly what it was. Chris Buescher was ready. Chris Buescher was ready to go.
Tyler diffused him with his. He kind of was like, "Hey man, I didn't know what I was doing."
Yeah, and he apologized, and it was almost watching it on television. It was like once he apologized, Chris Buescher was like, "What? Now I can't hit you."
Right, exactly.
And now I can't cuss you out.
You admitted you did wrong. Dang it.
Because he walked away. Well, he started pointing. It was interesting. He started pointing because now Chris Buescher didn't know what to say. So all he could do is point at the checkered flag sticker on Tyler Reddick's car. He's like, you've got one of these, and I don't. And you're wrong.
Chris hopped out. He was ready.
Yes.
And Tyler diffused him with kindness. He killed him with kindness. Like, hey, man, I'm really sorry.
And he's smaller. And
listen,
just,
man, I apologize. And he had his helmet on and everything.
Oh, no. He also had the smart play there.
Good call.
The helmet was not coming off.
Yeah, I was like, I'm going to keep this thing off. That might have also kind of diffused the tension a little bit. Smart play.
But I don't blame Chris Buescher because, I mean, last week he was edged out by that 0.001 seconds at the line in Kansas. So, yeah, it's like we're this close. But it was kind of cool to see a Ford win because Ford's been on a winless streak as well.
I don't have it. How did we do as a grouping there?
As a group, the Hamlin ended up finishing fourth, and that was Josh's pick. Okay. So he ended up doing the best. You came in last because Blaney exited out.
He was running well.
He was early. Yeah, he was okay.
I thought I think early on I was like, oh, I might have something here, and then I didn't.
Yeah. So I think Preston might have come in second.
It's holding in the row.
All right, well, that's right. Still early.
All my goals are in front of me.
All your goals are in front of you. Everything is still attainable. 803-404-6100. So you had that. You also had the Wells Fargo up at Quail Hollow, just obviously outside of South Carolina, right there in Charlotte. Another great event within close proximity here to Columbia, and ends up being a great tournament. And then Roy McIlroy just turns on the jets there coming down the stretch, and it was absolutely phenomenal yesterday, Preston. So Roy McIlroy gets a victory up there over Xander Schauffele. Good for him. We'll now look ahead to the PGA Championship, which is coming up this week. It should be a lot of fun there. We'll talk more about that as the week goes along and get into that. Bassmaster is off and running. I'm trying to see if I can get live updates. I was trying to find it on the television, but Patrick Walters, Preston's guy, Somerville native.
Yes, sir.
Currently leading there in the Bassmaster. So we will try and follow that and give you an update tomorrow morning on that. Preston has a major sports record that was broke over the weekend. What do you got?
Bill, I'm not sure that you were aware.
I'm not
sure why you were not aware of this, but this is a huge break in professional football. A major break in professional football. Were you aware?
Oh, boy.
That my team, the Birmingham Stallions.
Oh, of course.
Were the first team to secure a conference championship for the third year, becoming the fastest team to clinch a playoff spot in modern USFL, XFL history. Were you aware? Two-time champions, third year with the conference championship, becoming the fastest team in modern USFL, XFL history.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Yeah, that first year of anything is pretty modern, I guess. The first year of the USFL, XFL.
See, this is modern history. Modern history because we're combining both leagues to combine the history. So the history of the XFL goes back 20 years. So this is plenty of time. Modern history, sir.
I'm with you. Okay.
Shout out to my guy Skip, which the reason why this came on my radar at all was because apparently Skip has broke out the old T formation.
Oh, really?
It's back. The old T formation. If you remember back in the early 2000s, my guy Ryan Brewer, Andrew Pinnock, Derek Watson running the T formation. It was outdated in 2000.
I particularly remember, I believe it was a Thursday night game in Arkansas that featured Troy Williamson back there, who then fumbled the handoff.
Broke out the T. Yeah, man. When we ran it in 2000, we were like, this is so old. And now here we go in 2024. What's old is new again.
Circling back around.
It's back.
Okay.
And they're scoring points with the T formation. Skip Holtz.
Nobody knows how to defend it.
What is this? This is brand new.
All these defensive coordinators, they don't have film on this. They have to go back to the VHSs. Like, hey, anybody got a anybody got a VCR?
Some scout reports Skip Holtz ran the T in 2001, so you got to be aware of the T formation. He has it in his back pocket. Anytime he could pull it out. So there you go, Bill. That's
where defensive coordinators are all over the internet now trying to find VCRs to watch VHSs.
That is your USFL update for the month.
Excellent.
We'll be back on the championship.
We've covered you.
Go Stallions.
You're covered significantly this morning. Jacob weighs in, says the shoe I had to have growing up, the Iversons. I actually had a pair of Iversons my senior year of high school, played basketball in.
Yeah, Iversons were big. I didn't love them. I don't know. I'm not sure if I ever actually even had any Reeboks by choice. But the Iversons were definitely a cool shoe, and they've made a little bit of a resurgence too.
A couple people weighing in here also. Marshall says, has anyone mentioned the Ruse, kangaroo shoes with the pockets on them from the 80s?
No, that's yours, sir. You got that all to yourself.
Strictly you.
Imagine the marketing meeting for that. We're going to make shoes with pockets on the side, and we're going to call them kangaroos.
The Ruse. And then Texter weighs in and says, why was Sellers in pit row again? Yeah, we don't know. We have to effort. It's not that he was in pit row. It's not that the whole thing is that he was. I mean, Jen's got the video, very good video. He is sitting right behind the crew chief, headset on. It looks
staring
like
intently.
He is. Yes, it looks like he is.
You think he was like, his tires are getting low?
Yeah,
I'm telling you, pit.
It looks like he's in there leaning in, like 42 laps to go. Let's fuel now, get ahead of the pack. We will work to. We will effort. There's got to be a good reason. I mean, but what it is, we have no clue at this point in time, and we'll make an effort to learn specifically why he was in. Because again, the other part about that, it's not like he was like, oh, Keselowski's winning. Let me go over to this. He was there from the get-go. He was in there early, and we will effort that. 803-404-6100. We'll do a little thorns, buds, and roses when we come back. You're listening to the early game. Bill Gunner for Corley Pool Solutions. You heard Jen give that weather report, and we are heading into the summer. Kids are about to be out of school. Is your personal individual pool in the backyard ready for the summer? If not, it's time to get maintenance lined up with Corley Pool Solutions, and they'll do it flat rate pricing, including all of the chemicals. You heard that right. Flat rate pricing, including all the chemicals. You know exactly what you are paying for, and you know what you are getting. And with Corley Pool Solutions, you're getting Tracy Corley, the pool guru, who has done it for over 20 years, maintaining pools around Lake Murray and Lexington and Chapin, making sure they're clean, they're sparkling. Even if you're having people over at night and you're grilling out, you want that pool to look absolutely fabulous. You want it to look nice, the ambiance of the pool, having the kids jumping at everything, and Corley Pool Solutions does it for flat rate pricing, including all of the chemicals. Give them a phone call today, 803-445-8109. Tell them Bill Gunner sent you.
Still working the earlier tie-ups, Pilgrim Church Road near Old Cherokee. Also, I-26 eastbound at I-20. I-20 westbound at Faro Road and Campground Road at Shore Road. An accident as well. Looking for a high today of about 79. 77 for tomorrow. Could see a pop-up shower. And then Wednesday, a high of 84. And we kind of get into a trend of low to mid-80s for about a week or so. So not too shabby. Right now, though, it's 60 on the early game.
Reminder, you can always, so many different ways to catch us. 107.5 The Game here in Columbia, 100.5 The Game in Florence, 100.3 in Myrtle Beach. You can also make sure, go to YouTube and you can check out The Game TV, powered by Integrated Media on YouTube. Go to @The Game TV Radio, and it's sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. And, of course, don't forget, just in case none of that works for you, go to your app store, download the 107.5 The Game app, and you can take us anywhere. Anywhere you go, you can listen to us each and every morning as we get you through. You can listen to great segments such as Thorns, Buds, and Roses. Preston Thorn looking at the weekend that was.
It's time for Thorns, Buds, and Roses with Preston Thorn on the early game. 107.5 The Game.
All right, Bill. Big weekend. A lot happening. We've gave our Gamecock sandwich of things that are happening. But I'm here to tell you, Bill, you know it always gets darkest before dawn, right?
That's what they tell me.
Mm-hmm. You know that tough times don't last, but tough people do.
Again, what I've heard.
Do you know that failure is not final? Do you know that in a dictionary, the only place where failure comes is before success?
Okay.
You knew all these things,
These are
right?
all important things to write down and
you know, if
repeat.
you fall down 9 times, you got to get back up 10.
Yeah.
Or in this case, if you lose 3 games in a row, you better get ready for the 4th game coming up next weekend against the number 1 team in the nation.
It's actually pretty
Thorn
important.
for this weekend is the baseball team getting swept. I don't think there's any way to get around it. Disappointing. It was the time for them to sort of show up. Everybody was ready to get on board, and then they laid an egg. They laid an egg. This is where we are in the season. To throw some more cliches at us, it is what it is. At the end of the day, this team may be who you thought they were, depending on who you are. We just have to let this one play out. But it was a thorn because they didn't show up the way that they needed to show up for us to support them. So for that's going to be a thorn. Buds. Shoe got planted a year ago. There was a little shoe that was planted. We just seen the little bud pop out this weekend where Nike announced that Asia Wilson will be getting her own signature shoe. Now, she's not the first. She won't be the last, but it is important because she's ours. And I think I'm on a crusade to tell everybody she's the GOAT. Maybe the best athlete to ever come out of the state of South Carolina.
Okay.
I think that's where I'm heading as far as athletic accomplishments, as far as notoriety, as far as the way she represents us in the media, how popular she is. It's just amazing that this young woman is right from down the road. I think that's awesome. We need to make sure that we lay claim to her whenever we get a chance. And it was really cool for her to be having her professional team playing in her college stadium. I think that was really, really awesome. And last but not least, obviously, roses for Mother's Day. Great holiday. Everybody we know, we don't celebrate our mothers, our mother figures, our godmothers, our aunties, anybody enough, how much they take care of us, what they do for us, especially the things when we're not looking and doing all for that. So I hope you took an opportunity on Sunday to cherish and take care of the women who take care of you. And also know that it's just not a one-day thing. You can do it on more than one day. So the roses are obviously for all of our women folks and all of our mothers who take care of us all the time. So shout out to all of you all. Happy Mother's Day from the early game. Bill, those are our thorns, buds, and roses.
A lot of good ones there. Yes, unfortunately, the thorn. We've talked a lot about it this morning. The baseball team and their performance. I mean, there's no other way to describe it. It's a letdown. It's a massive letdown, and I think it's multiplied by the fact that now you have to go on the road to wrap up the regular season and go play Tennessee. And Tennessee 42-10. Again, I would assume that later on today when the polls come out, they will continue to be number one, especially in the D1 baseball poll, as they took 2 of 3 from Vanderbilt last week, or this past weekend. That's not a recipe for bouncing back. Although, if you go on the road and you take 2 of 3, okay, you feel pretty good about yourself.
So that's my question. I wonder where people stand. And it's hard to get a gauge because Twitter is obviously going to get the extremes of opinions, you know what I'm saying? So you're not going to be able to gauge what the general fan base feels like. But let's say they go on the road and get 2 for 3. Are you in? Are you back in? Or are you in? Or do you believe in them? And you don't have to. But I just wonder what people are thinking as the season moves forward. Or are you just saying, I'm not going to get my hopes up because this team is limited, which could be a valid criticism as far as pitching is concerned, the things that I don't know where people fall on this.
I don't want to speak for people, but I'm going to speak for people.
There you go. Now we're talking.
Right.
Now we're going.
I don't want to do this, but I'm going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
What I think, what I sense watching our text line, 803-404-6100 is, what I sense is that nobody will be back in.
That's fair.
That we all look at this team, and especially after this weekend magnified it, but they're a flawed team. They're a good team, but they're not a national championship team. And that is that is kind of the expectation here. Maybe not to win the national championship, but to field a national championship level team.
To be in the conversation.
To know.
Ooh, you was about to say to be at the table.
To be at the table, yeah.
Be in the conversation.
Be in the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to not win it, but you want a team that you look at and you go, all right, if this happens and we get hot, we can get hot in the postseason and win. And it doesn't feel like this team could go on the road in a super regional environment and take 2 of 3. And I think that's why people would be like, oh, okay, nice, you took 2 of 3 from Tennessee, although that would be a super regional type environment. That's my opinion. I could be wrong. I'm speaking for the people, and I shouldn't be speaking for the people. We have a text line if you want to speak, and you can speak at 803-404-6100. But that is my opinion, is that people would look at it and be like, nope, that's more of a fluke than it is who this team is.
I think that would be fair if that's how you felt. I couldn't argue with somebody that would feel that they have a body of work to support that. There's just been a couple of times this year, the sweep with Vanderbilt, the win against Kentucky, where maybe people were ready to get on board, and then it sort of fizzled out.
We'll obviously we'll talk more about it again as the week goes on. I want to go back on to Asia Wilson because we've talked about them being here and playing yesterday. 27 points, 14 boards for her. It was a blowout.
Yeah,
102-50. The Aces, as the article says, dispatched Puerto Rico.
Shout out to Puerto Rico. We appreciate your service, but
And to go back to what you said, and I think this is great, and I don't know. We're gonna get to this soccer match in August, and that's gonna draw people from all over, from Florida, from Georgia, from North Carolina. People are flying in. It's obviously a huge event. But kudos to people. This is what Dawn Staley's done. Attendance yesterday listed, this is according to the Las Vegas Aces website, attendance listed yesterday 13,500, excuse me, it should say Saturday, but attendance listed as 13,507 fans for a preseason exhibition game. And that speaks to what Dawn Staley's done. It also speaks to what you were just talking about, who Asia Wilson is.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. I mean, the fanfare, the build-up to the games, if you were sort of following the thing online, like I said, the team was doing the TikToks. She trolled her teammates, making them wear Gamecock uniforms. All of that stuff builds into her embracing her role as an ambassador for the university, embracing her role as an ambassador for the state. And I just think, I don't know if we could have asked for a better representative of South Carolina athletics. And then, not to mention, she's also the number 1 player in the women's game, regardless of who's coming in the game, who just got drafted.
Yeah.
There is somebody who is 2-time MVP and in NBA champion, and she's from here.
27 points, 14 rebounds for Asia Wilson yesterday in her return to Colonial Life Arena with the Las Vegas Aces. It went very similar to how most women's basketball games go over there. It was a blowout.
Good point. Solid point.
People around here are not sure how to go to a women's game and see something that's competitive with 3 minutes to go. People would be losing their mind if there was a competitive women's game over there with the way Dawn Staley seems to blow out the opposition. And then yesterday, Las Vegas handling Puerto Rico. So congratulations to Asian, as you mentioned. Nike announcing a signature shoe, the A1.
The A1.
Shoe. So good for her.
But now the pressure's on, Asia, because now they got to be fire. You got the shoe. You've been working on the design. We trust all your fashion choices. Pressure's on.
803-404-6100. We'll get back into some Darlington thoughts from Jen. Cover up a few other things. You're listening to Bill Gunner, Preston Thorne. She's Jen Jensen. It is the early game. The summer heat is coming. You don't have a whole lot of time left. It's time now to call AAA Heating and Air and get that new air conditioner put in your home. Don't wait another day. Beat the seasons with AAA Heating and Air in South Carolina, and you can do it with a system upgrade. Now, it all starts with a free replacement estimate. You heard that right. Free replacement estimate. Contact AAA Heating and Air today, or you can visit their website. Again, that's 803-677-1500. Again, that's 803-677-1500. You can get an instant quote, free replacement estimate as to what you're going to pay, and get ready for those hot summer days that are just in front of us. I had AAA Heating and Air come out of the house back in 2023, February 2023. They put a brand new heating and air system in, and I tell you what, it has been absolutely wonderful ever since. It took care of me during the winter. It'll take care of me again during the summer. You need the same. Call AAA Heating and Air today, 803-677-1500. Tell them Bill Gunner sent you.
In the cleanup stages, Campground Road at Shore Road, easy for me to say. I-20 westbound at Faro Road, an accident there, as well as in Malfunction Junction, I-26 eastbound at I-20. And in Lexington, still working on Pilgrim Church Road near Old Cherokee Road. Forecast, looking pretty nice. 79 today, 77 tomorrow. Could see a passing storm tomorrow. Then we get into the mid-80s for the rest of the week and low to mid-80s throughout the weekend. So getting some taste of summer for sure, but I think we can welcome that. Sun is working on peeking out right now, a little bit breezy, and it's 60 on the early game.
Doing what we do best, or what I do best, talking about something I really don't have a lot of clue about. It's kind of where I stand. I'm trying to give you live, up-to-date standings on the Bassmasters Minn Kota Elite event at Lake Murray. The Minn Kota Bassmaster Elite at Lake Murray is the official title of 2024. They are wrapping it up. I don't know if, and I say because I this is the one day this year you'll hear me do this, and hopefully we get to do it again next year. I hope Bassmaster comes back. It really is a cool event. I watched a bunch of the boats on the weekend. But Patrick Walters, Somerville native, Preston Thorne's hometown, currently in the lead. It has him with 67 pounds, 3 ounces of fish. And this, again, I am all for anybody that wants to call in 803-404-6100 and tell me I'm wrong or say, no, you got it right or whatever. But it is, I'm looking at the website, the Phoenix Boats Big Bass leader, Luke Palmer, caught a 7-pound, 4-ounce bass. I say that, and I think that's impressive. I don't know if that's impressive or not, but I'm pretty sure that's impressive.
Well, you said you caught one the other day, was it?
I caught a 1.5 pound. Yeah,
pound and a half?
Friday afternoon.
There's a little bit of difference between that.
Yeah, slight difference. Or maybe it was Thursday, Friday. I don't know. I was fishing off the dock and I caught one. But there is your. I'm looking at tournament standings. JT Tompkins out of Myrtle Beach appears to be in second place with 58 pounds, 15 ounces.
I am not disrespecting the Bassmasters, and I really dislike when people do this to things that I love. But I can only think of the 2 dudes who were stuffing the fish and getting the weights. That was a tremendous week in sports radio when those dudes were taking the fish, putting the weights on it, and they won by. I'm just refreshing the article. They won by 20 pounds.
Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of. It feels like they knew less than I do because you've got to know somewhere where the cutoff line is.
And they also went to jail. So don't cheat in any of your fishing tournaments.
I've enjoyed watching it. We were looking for it on television and we haven't seemed to find it. So I don't know if the cameramen that get on the boats with the guys have gone home. But Patrick Walters, by the way, I'm going to effort to see if we can get him on. I don't know if you've got a contact.
I have no. I'm not aware. I don't know. Let's try and do this
with the bat. We have strayed so far outside of our lane on this Bassmaster thing, but because much like the Kentucky Derby, I pay attention to it one time, and then I have no clue what's going on the rest of the time. But pulling for these 2 guys, South Carolina natives, Patrick Walters in first right now. And again, I don't know if this is like up to minute standings or what, but 67 pounds, 3 ounces, and JT Tompkins out of Myrtle Beach, 58 pounds, 15 ounces. It feels like your boy Patrick is gonna take home the title.
We need a correspondent. We need a correspondent. Somebody coming from the Bassmasters desk. Our guy Brian Glenn has officially taken the spot of our horse racing correspondent. So shout out to Brian Glenn, Village Idiot. So, we'll be coming to him pretty soon for Preakness, but we need somebody for this on the
Preakness,
fishing
I believe,
front.
Is this weekend. Is that right?
Maybe. So we'll definitely have to give him a call.
I know where the Kentucky Derby is. After that, you're like, oh, what's going on?
Coming on sometime soon.
Same horse running again? I don't know what's going on. So we'll do that. That's one great event that our state hosted this weekend, the Bassmaster right here on Lake Murray. The other one was Darlington. And Jen, your good buddy, loosely termed friend of the show, Reggie Anderson, told me that they passed out Crown Royal in the media center. I replied via text message during the show, well, did you grab my complimentary bottle? To which his reply says, if they had actually done that, I would have texted you a pic of Jen and I toasting Blaney's trip to the garage.
Yep.
So, but all in all, the environment down there, everything, just another phenomenal weekend for Darlington and Josh Harris's first trip through.
Oh, man. And I heard a couple people say, it was one of the best. So a lot of people enjoyed it. I mean, they kind of do extra things. There was the alumni garage or alumni area where former NASCAR drivers had been. I mean, again, the throwback weekend is just so much fun. So many people are there. Ray Evernham was there. Jeff Burton was there. Just so many former drivers. All the classic paint schemes. There were some older cars that were out on the track and just a lot of festivities. So it was definitely a good weekend for sure. And great racing. Oh my gosh. The race, Xfinity race on, the truck race was good. Xfinity race on Saturday was really, really good. Chastain ended up getting that. And he couldn't fight the racing yesterday. I mean, it was just really, really good. It's fun to watch and see how the tires are working. And that was the thing with Chris Buescher. If Tyler Reddick had maybe been a little bit more patient, from what Brad Keselowski was saying, Chris Buescher's tires were kind of going. And that's typical for Darlington because it's just so hard on the track, or the track is so hard on the tires. But his tires were going. He maybe wasn't managing them as well. So Reddick might have been able to get that win, possibly. But he just got a little too aggressive at the end. So a little bit of scuffle, kerfluffle in the post race, but all in all, it was great racing. It was just a really fun day.
So you had all these great events going on, and somewhere in the background, I guess, the NBA playoffs were still taking place. And yesterday, the Indiana Pacers just blew out the New York Knicks, 121-89. Last night, though, was more of the shocker. Denver has stormed back. They've gone on the road to Minnesota, and they have tied this series up 2-2. It's actually a very entertaining series. Nikola Jokic last night, 35 points. Anthony Edwards had 44. This is, if you're not even an NBA fan, Preston, it's something worth tuning into because two different styles of getting to where they're going, too, by the way.
Very true.
Two entirely different styles.
Very true.
Jokic named MVP of the league over the weekend.
Yeah, for the third time, third year MVP. And if you're familiar with Jokic, he was like, yes, now I must watch my horses.
Yeah.
He wants to go back to watch his horses. Not very excited about it, but it kind of talks about how he is as a teammate because he's just focused on winning. You hear his stat line. What was his stat line? 37. It's like 37, 14, and 9 or something along those lines, which is crazy. But people were starting to sort of, these guys, the Nuggets, and I'm not sure what it is, but I don't think we see them as legitimate champions because they won the championship last year. They have the best player in the league on their team. And for some reason, when they got down 2-0, everybody was, it's over.
Yeah.
It's like, maybe relax. Everybody being Bill.
Yeah. I was.
It's like maybe relax a little bit. This dude is the number one player in the world. They are the defending champions. They have a system that works. Maybe just relax. And they've tied it back up at 2-2. Really quickly, Ant Edwards last night, 44 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. But that's not the thing that's shocking. Getting into some analytics, Bill, check this out. Ant-Man played 45 minutes and 20 seconds, okay? When he was in the game, the Wolves were up by 5. He left the game for a total of 2 minutes. Throughout the game, their plus-minus, -13. +5 when he was in, -13 when he was out. And he only was out for 2 minutes.
Well, yeah, I'm looking. Nikolai Alexander, one of the guys off the bench for this is not to say this. These are those metrics that baseball we talked about. Nikolai Alexander Walker yesterday. I just glanced, and you mentioned this. Played 24 minutes. He only scored 2 points. They were -20 when he was on the floor. -20. Like I feel like you found the issue on your team when a dude plays 24 minutes and is -20.
His key card might not have worked this morning.
Yeah. They actually flew him back to Denver.
Yeah.
That was the Timberwolves. You just go back to Denver. We'll catch you when we get over there for game 5 or whatever.
I will say, man, it is an exciting series. A lot of things are happening. There's 2 players who are the face of the league, and whatever style of basketball you want to see played, both of these guys are getting it done at high levels, man. So it's very highly entertaining basketball between the Joker and the Ant-Man.
803-404-6100. We'll wrap things up when we return. It's the early game. Bill Gunner for Mid-State Roofing. For nearly 30 years, Mid-State Roofing has been the industry leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry. And I tell you what, it is their proven history that is your assurance that their professionals will provide proper advice, service, and results to the needs of your facility and do it in a manner both safe and pleasing to your operation. As you're walking around today or as you're listening to this, you're probably not thinking about your roof. You're not thinking about what could happen if there's a severe thunderstorm with hail or heavy rains. But Mid-State Roofing is. And that's why 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, they have somebody ready to take your phone call and help you with a maintenance contract. So you can give them a phone call today, 803-356-1919. Again, that's 803-356-1919. They will install a bonded system with a protective guarantee that will keep your operation dry and running long into the future. Call Mid-State Roofing today. Tell them you heard it here with Bill Gunner, 803-356-1919. Bill Gunner for the Ecton Law Firm. Are tax troubles weighing you down? Are they keeping you up at night, causing unwanted stress? You don't need to have that in your life, especially with summer ahead of you. You need to call the Ecton Law Firm. I know the IRS is planning to send out those dreaded notices of intent to levy in 2024. Maybe you have already received one, you or your business. But the Ecton Law Firm is ready to help you, whether you're here in Columbia, maybe you're in Myrtle Beach, maybe you're in Florence. Wherever you're at listening this morning, the Ecton Law Firm is there for you. They have a local team dedicated to resolving your income or business tax issues for good. So call today and get a free consultation. 803-771-9800. Again, that's 803-771-9800. John Ecton and his team will make sure they get rid of that stress you've been carrying around because of tax issues. Call today. Tell them you heard it with Bill Gunner right here in the early game. 803-771-9800. Final segment of the morning as we wrap things up here on, again, what was a really fun sports weekend, except for South Carolina baseball. Everything was really cool. Darlington was fantastic. Mother's Day, at least for the Gunner family, I think for y'all as well, was fantastic. Women's basketball, Asia Wilson, 27 points, 14 rebounds. Las Vegas Aces on Saturday absolutely destroyed Puerto Rico, 102-50 in front of 13,507 fans. Bassmasters taking place over the weekend. Roy McIlroy in the Wells Fargo.
Put a pin in that. I have some questions later on in the week.
Of Roy McIlroy?
Mm-hmm.
We get ready for the PGA Championship taking place later this week at Valhalla over there in Kentucky, in Louisville, Kentucky. So it's going to be a really fun week. We'll count down to the South Carolina and Tennessee baseball series. As we started the show, there's nothing Preston or I or Jen could come in here and say. You have eyes, you saw it firsthand, or you listened to it, whatever it may be, you know. It was ugly. It's not that was the worst case scenario this weekend.
A debacle, as we were heard.
And they might have put themselves in a massive hole here because Jamie Bradford earlier saying, hey, they aren't locked into the NCAA tournament. You swing and miss this weekend. You go 0 for 3 this weekend. You go to the SEC tournament, and you don't win a game. You put yourself in a very precarious situation come Selection Sunday.
Yeah, and I know baseball obviously has all of the numbers that they work with and all of those different analytics that they work with, but there's always the human element, and when you're going into the tournament on a skid, especially the way that looks, that doesn't bode well for how you either seeded or whether you're not. The bubble sort of works on that. So you want to try and get something this weekend for sure.
And, of course, as Preston, I'll let him point this back out again. There was a major record broken in sports this week, a big record. We may not hit this anymore, so we better do it twice this morning.
This is your USFL minute. The Birmingham Stallions, my team, my guy, my coach, Skip Holtz, going for back-to-back conference championships. And, in fact, not only are they going for back-to-back, but they have clinched a playoff berth, the earliest of anybody in modern USFL, XFL history.
It's big.
It's huge.
It's huge.
And Skip Holtz broke out the T formation this weekend. It was a social media phenomenon. And if you're a Gamecock fan, you're like, I remember that from 23 years ago, but it's back.
So you've got that. Also,
in case you've been hankering for the little bit of T formation.
We like to keep you updated. Mm-hmm. We like to keep you tonight, NHL playoffs. Hurricanes and Rangers. Hurricanes down 3-1. They've got to stay. They're still back to New York now. 7 o'clock ESPN. This has been a. I don't know if violence the right word, but it's pretty close to the violent series.
The thing I understand about playoff hockey is that they kind of sacrifice some of the extra hitting and fighting because they're trying to focus on actually playing hockey. They have not done that in the series. They are still cross-checking, throwing each other against the boards. It's been very intense.
It's been that is an understatement. That'll be 7 o'clock tonight. That'll have my viewing experience. Also over the weekend, Braves taking on the Mets up there, and Braves kind of scuffling. We'll have our Chop Talk segment coming up on Thursday. Braves right now falling a little bit behind the Phillies. Braves now 24-13 on the season. They lost last night. Phillies 28-13 on the season. So
they had a no-hit bid spoiled in the ninth inning, but we don't think no-hitters matter anymore, so I don't know how I should actually feel about this.
Not only that, they pulled, as it was occurring, they pulled the starter. They pulled Max Fried during the no-hit, and that kind of goes back to your point of, like, we don't know. I don't know what the no-hitter means anymore. It's cool. It's an accomplishment.
I guess.
8 2/3 no-hitters before a home run spoiled the bid. Braves beat the Mets 4-1. That was Saturday last night, though, losing. We'll get into more of that on Chop Talk. That might be a big segment on a little bit about what is a no-hitter now in baseball, and obviously we'll follow that throughout the week. Again, NHL tonight, be a lot of fun. We'll plow through the week, folks, because it's the darkest before it's completely dark.
got chronic joint pain and not having success with steroids but trying to avoid surgery? Well, thankfully, there's a better way, and now it's available here from the medical professionals at QC Kinetics. It's Preston Thorne, and I'm talking about new advanced regenerative medicine treatments that can restore and repair damaged tissues in your bad joints, providing lasting relief with no drugs, no surgery, and no downtime. QC Kinetics is the leader in precision regenerative medicine with over 100 clinics across America and literally thousands of satisfied patients. So if you got joint pain due to arthritis, knee pain, hip pain, shoulder pain, don't just think the old ways of dealing with pain are the only ways. You need to learn more about these new regenerative options that can change your life. So call QC Kinetics now. It's a free consultation with local medical professionals. It's call 803-281-6860. That's 803-281-6860.
Couple of accidents still on the roads at the moment. We've got 20 westbound at Fair Road and 20 westbound just before Monticello Road. Now, showers will begin to arrive overnight tonight, and they will linger into your Tuesday morning. By afternoon, cold front arrives, and we'll see another round of thunderstorms on Tuesday. So be aware of that. 70% chance of rain for tomorrow. Today, 79 for a high, only a small chance of rain. And then once those clouds move out and on Tuesday, we'll be fine for Wednesday, Thursday. But then Friday, that rain's expected to move right back in. So look out for that. We'll move up to a 70% chance of rain on Friday.
Nine o'clock on your Monday morning. Welcome in. It is the Extra Point here on the game. Tyler Head along with you. Oh, boy, there's a lot to get to over the course of the next couple of hours. Very, very busy weekend. Myself and Jen Jensen got to spend the weekend out at Darlington Raceway. Certainly appreciate Josh allowing us to be out there, as well as our friends at Schroeder's Towing that were allowed us to be out there on Friday to do our shows. Great weekend of racing. Had a phenomenal Goodyear 400 yesterday. Saw the North Sellers at the racetrack. Got treated to a really, really good race, and I'll certainly get some of those details and recap that a little bit later on. Unfortunately, as I come in here this morning, the headline of the weekend is what happened on the Diamond over at Founders Park, and it was a less than thrilling series for the Gamecocks, falling all 3 games to the Georgia Bulldogs. A first time getting swept at home in 5 years. Vanderbilt swept the Gamecocks back in May of 2019. Shows you how good South Carolina's been at Founders Park.